basically talking about your IGST Act. The question basically comes only from two provisions. Section 10, which is place of supply for your goods, and section 12, which is place of supply for your services. We have only domestic place of supply, which means the transactions are within India. You don't have questions where the transaction pertains to international transactions. So you have only domestic transactions. You have only domestic transaction. So when you talk about goods, please understand how it is bifurcated. The first bifurcation is based on B2B. B2B supplies. Then there is B2C supplies. Then there is special supplies. B2B, B2C, then there are special cases. B2B, B2C, then there are special cases. Believe me, for goods, already you have the answers. Chase the goods, you'll get the answer. Follow the goods, you'll get the answer. Wherever goods are going, follow that, you'll get the answer. Wherever goods are going, follow that, you'll get the answer. Right? Only follow the goods. Keep following the goods. So when you talk about B2B transaction, so first we'll focus on B2B transaction. If there is supply and movement of goods, place of supply is the location where the movement terminates for delivery, which means end of the goods. Location of the goods where it terminates for delivery to the recipient. Let us take an example. A of Maharashtra is selling 10 laptops to B of Delhi. And B2B means the recipient is registered. B of Delhi is registered. Delivery is at B in Delhi. So where is the place of supply? Where is the place of supply? Where the movement of the goods is terminating. Follow the goods. Where the movement of the goods is terminating. I want answers from your end. It is already given. I know after lunch it is difficult, but please be focused. Place of supply for sure questions will be there. So when you're talking about A of Maharashtra, is selling goods to B of Delhi. Where the goods are going to get delivered. So what is the place of supply? So it is location of the goods at the time where the movement terminates for delivery. So again, the focus is on the termination, where it ends. Chase the goods. What if I tell that there is a transaction which involves three parties? Right. So here it is telling that goods are delivered by supplier to recipient or any other person on direction of third person, which means it involves three parties. Two transactions, three parties. Place of supply is said to include principal place of business of third person. Though you have to use these words, but answer is very simple. You will find that, okay, in the first case I have to write location of the goods where the movement terminates for Delhi to the recipient. Forget about all the complication. It is where the goods are ending. The second point is principal place of business of third person. Forget about it. Look at the transaction, automatically get the answer. A of Tamil Nadu is asking B of Uttar Pradesh to deliver goods to C of Madhya Pradesh. First, B, make it very clear. The transaction is between whom all? A of Tamil Nadu is asking B of Uttar Pradesh to deliver goods to C of Madhya Pradesh. So actually, B of Madhya Pradesh is selling to A of Tamil Nadu. You have to interpret the question. Wordings you should understand properly. A is actually asking B, his supplier, to deliver the goods to C, his customer. And C is there in Madhya Pradesh. So how many transactions are there? Supplies are 2. Supply 1, supply 2. Movement is only 1. Movement is only. So A is asking B of Madhya Pradesh. A of Tamil Nadu is asking B of Madhya Pradesh directly to send the goods to C of Madhya Pradesh. Sorry, B is of Uttar Pradesh. B is of A of Tamil Nadu is asking B of Uttar Pradesh directly to send the goods to C of Madhya Pradesh. So sale is by B to A and A to C. Movement is from B to C on the direction of A. On the direction of. Now what is the location of supplier? First case. Location of supplier. That's location of supplier. Where is the location of supplier? Location of supplier. Who's the supplier? A is supplier or B is supplier? So how can it be Tamil Nadu? B is selling to A is selling to C. A is asking B directly to give to goods to C. Interpret the words properly. So where is the location of supplier? Location of supplier is Uttar Pradesh. Where is the place of supply? Place of supply is not Madhya Pradesh. Here, understand, there are two limbs of the contract. Here, it is principal place of business of third person. Third person is A. Right? It is Tamil Nadu. First, it will come to Tamil Nadu. Yes, your understanding is right, where the movement of goods terminates, finally chase the goods, right? But this is the first part of the answer. For the second part, where is the location of the supplier? Now, who is the supplier? A is the Tamil. A is the supplier. A is there in Tamil Nadu. Where is the place of supply? Now, it is where the movement terminates. It is where the movement. So, please understand the recipient. Where is the recipient? Rather than, first of all, prima facie, it is chasing the goods. But for B2B, always focus on recipient. For B2B, always focus on recipient. Always focus on recipient. Right? So here, for the first part, place of supply is principal place of business of third person. Principal place of business of third person. Section 10(1)(b). Section 10(1)(b). Principal place of business of third person. And for the second part, it is covered by the main provision. Section 10(1)(a). Location of the goods where the movement terminates for delivery. Where the goods are terminating for delivery to the recipient. So it is Madhya Pradesh. Right. So here, this particular part is answering only the first answer. Only the first transaction is answered by 10(1)(b). Principal place of business of third person is nothing but Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, goods never came. But first, Tamil Nadu person should get the credit. So now please replace the term. For B2B, always focus the recipient. Always focus the, for B2B, always focus the, for B2B, always focus the recipient. You'll always get the right answer. Right? Now, if I tell there is no movement at all, if there is no movement at all, then the place of supply is location of such goods at the time of delivery. At the time of delivery to the recipient. Where the goods are there when the sale is happening. Where the goods are there when the sale is happening. Location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Now, look at this example. A of Tamil Nadu has leased the machine to B of Uttar Pradesh. Please understand, leasing of machine is not supply of goods, it's supply of services. You cannot have answer in section 10. You cannot have answer in section 10. So, this is supply of services. Answer will be in terms of section 12. Forget about it. Now, after 10 months, the same is sold to B on as is where is basis. As is where is basis means wherever it is in that same format, you take the machinery. Now, only now there is supply of goods where it is section 10. Now, is there supply of goods now after 10 months? Yes. But is there any movement? No, movement already happened 10 months ago. Movement already happened. Where the goods are lying? Where the goods are lying? So goods are already there with recipient B at Uttar Pradesh. So what will be the place of supply? Place of supply will be Uttar Pradesh. Place of supply will be Uttar Pradesh. Now read the terms, it will make sense. Location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. When this delivery means ownership. This delivery means at the time of transferring the ownership. At the time of transferring the ownership. Right. B2B, three cases. Where there is movement, where it terminates. Where there is no movement, where the ownership is transferred. Where there is two-party and three-party contracts, there is a three-party transaction. For the first part, it is principal place of business of third person. Because in reality, in this example, A never gets the goods. Principal place of business of third person. A never gets the goods. But still you have to make him as the place of supply so that he gets the credit. Right. So this is for B2B transaction. Now I say for the last few attempts is focusing more on B2C transaction. B2C, that ABC is a repeatedly asked question. ABC is a repeatedly asked question. Then ICA focuses on B2C transaction. For B2C transaction, place of supply is location of recipient if recipient's address is on records. If you know the address of the customer, it is location of customer. And normally address means full address, but in this case address means state is sufficient. Normally address means full address, but here address means just the state is sufficient. State itself is sufficient. So location of address of the recipient if it is on records. Whether you need full address, no, state is sufficient. Sir, if B2C is there, normally if you and I go and purchase any goods from a shop, whether they have our address, they don't have our address. If you and I go to a shop and are purchasing say ready-made garments or gift items, etc., it is B2B transaction or B2C? Customer is registered or unregistered? Do they have our address? So, place of supply is their own shop. Location of supplier. Location of supplier. If the supplier is having your address, full address not required, only the state. Only the state. Then it is that state. If nothing, B2C it's nothing. Normally B2C supplier cannot find out that the customer is coming from which state and all. So it is his own place. It is his own place. Which means always it will be CGST, SGST. Location of supplier, his shop. Place of supply, his shop. Same. So it will always be CGST and SGST. So if A of Maharashtra is selling 10 laptops to B of Delhi, who's unregistered. Till now, all the three cases, our previous examples are B2B. Now it is B2C. Customer is unregistered for delivery in Delhi. If at all, as a supplier, I know that his address is Delhi. I need not know entire address. I just know the state. I just know the place of supply is Delhi. If I am not sure, if I don't know, this customer came from where, if I don't know any details about him, then place of supply is Maharashtra. Place of supply is supplier's own place. Supplier's own place. Clear? So that is for B2C. B2C, if you know the address, not entire address, state of recipient, it is that state. If you don't have any idea about recipient, your own place. Your own place. Location of supplier is your own place. Now, if you're talking about goods, see, first three cases were B2B. Fourth case was B2C. Fifth and sixth are special cases. Fifth and sixth are where goods are assembled or installed at site. Assembly or installation of goods. Place of supply is place of such installation or something. If you are supplying some item, machinery, and it is to be installed at a place, place of supply is that location of installation or location of assembly. Where the installation is going to happen, where the assembly is going to happen. Look at this example carefully. A of Tamil Nadu gives contract to B of Madhya Pradesh. Please tell me carefully, who is the supplier, who is the recipient?
Mr. B is the supplier and C is...
Mr. B is the supplier and A is the recipient. Because contract is given to B means Mr. B is the supplier, A is the recipient. To assemble a power plant in UP refinery, Uttar Pradesh refinery. So supplier is located in Madhya Pradesh and recipient is located in, but assembly happens in place of supply is neither Madhya Pradesh nor Tamil Nadu. Place of supply is so special cases. That is the reason it is called as special cases. Place of supply is Uttar Pradesh, where the assembly or installation is going to happen. Clear? Now, where goods are supplied on board a conveyance, which means when the vehicle is moving, when you are during transportation, passenger transportation service, you are purchasing some goods. It is location where the goods are taken on board. When the supplier is taking the goods on board, supplier is taking the goods inside the bus, supplier is taking the goods inside the rail, supplier is taking the goods inside the aeroplane. When entry point of goods, it's all reverse. Now it is not following the logic till now. Special cases, entry point of the goods, where the goods are taken on board. Please understand, do not think of food as an example. Because restaurant service, when you're having food in rail or aeroplane, it is restaurant service. But if you're purchasing Pepsi or Lays, pre-packed item, then it is goods. It will come here. It will come here. It is not restaurant service or outdoor catering. If you're purchasing anything which is pre-packed, if you're purchasing anything which is, this will come here. You're purchasing t-shirts while traveling in train, purchasing books while traveling in train, purchasing imitation jewelry while traveling in train, or purchasing AirPods while traveling in aeroplane, purchasing your neck comfort while traveling in aeroplane. Right? These are all goods. These are all goods. Now, what is the place of supply? Where the goods are taken on board when they entered the bus or rail or aeroplane or the ship for that matter. In a flight of Goa to Delhi, via Mumbai, watches were taken on board in Goa. So watches were entered in Goa. They were sold in Mumbai. Where they were sold is not allowed. What is the place of supply? Where the goods were taken inside the aeroplane. So place of supply is, and please understand, if 100 watches are taken, place of supply is for how many watches? Not 100 watches, only for the watches which are sold. If 100 watches are taken and only 2 are sold, only 2 are supplied. And you require place of supply only where there is a supply. So you will be finding place of supply only for 2 watches. You will not be finding for entire 100 watches. Because what is supplied is only 2 watches. So how to make it simple? B2B 3 cases, B2C 1 case, special 2 cases. B2B 3, B2C 1, special 2 cases. Right? And everywhere place of supply is different. B2B, where the movement is there, where is the keyword is terminate. No movement, delivery. Keyword is delivery. Delivery means ownership. When the ownership is given. Right? When it is a transaction between 3 parties, then for the first part of the transaction, it is principal place of business of third person. For the second part of the transaction, it is where the movement terminates. B2C, recipient address, only state is known, that state. Not known, your own address. Special, assembly installation. Where assembly happens, installation happens. Forget about supplier, forget about recipient. Where the goods are sold when they are taken on conveyance. Entry point of goods, where the goods are taken on board. So totally 6 cases for goods. So whenever you get place of supply for goods, be very happy. Totally itself there are 6 cases. How to split? 3 to B2B, 1 B2C and 2 special. This is all which is there for your goods section 10. Section 10 of your IGST Act. This is all IGST Act. Section 10 of your IGST Act. Now, there's one more point before I move to section 12. There's a point which talks about your territorial waters, and ICAI has touched this a few times. Supposing you are talking about a place of supply, or for that matter, location of supplier in territorial waters. Say this territorial waters happens to be place of supply. And let us assume that your location of supplier is Tamil Nadu. Now, place of supply is not a state. It is on water. Now, this could be attached to any state. In our example, this could be part of Tamil Nadu. This could be even part of Andhra. Correct? Let us stick to only 2 states. It could be even touching Orissa and all. You can go further. Right? Let us stick to only 2 states. Now one thing you clearly know that supplier is Tamil Nadu. Place of supply is water. But you cannot have water as the answer. What to do? You find out the nearest distance from Tamil Nadu to that point. Nearest distance, shortest distance from Andhra to that point. The shortest distance from Tamil Nadu to that point, say it is 8 nautical miles. And shortest distance between Andhra to that point, say for example, it is 7.6 nautical mile. So what is the place of supply now? What is the place of supply? So place of supply now becomes Andhra Pradesh. Location of supply Tamil Nadu, place of supply Andhra Pradesh. Therefore it is IGST. Therefore it is. But if I change the 7.6 nautical mile into 8.6 nautical mile, then place of supply becomes location of supply Tamil Nadu, place of supply Tamil Nadu, CGST, SGST. CGST, SGST. The moment I change the distance, answer will change. See, they are actually telling a very basic point. If at all your LOS or POS is in water, if your LOS or POS is in water, how to bring it to the state? Calculate the shortest distance between multiple states. Between whichever is lowest, that is the answer. That is the answer. Clear? Clear? It is only a clarification. It is only a clarification. It could be ulta also. Place of supply, you know, it is say in Tamil Nadu. But location supplier, supposing there is a mining company which is doing mining through a vessel. So now you want to find where is the location of the supplier. So it could be ulta also. It could be ulta also. Clear? What are you trying to do? In this example, place of supply was water. But water cannot be an answer. We have never discussed. Tamil Nadu to Tamil Nadu means you will tell the answer CGST, SGST. Tamil Nadu to Andhra means you will tell the answer IGST. Tamil Nadu to water, or you have never discussed. So you have to tell that water belongs to which state. That area, that water area, you are going to take to which state. So shortest distance. You take the shortest distance from Tamil Nadu to that point of water. Shortest distance of Andhra to that point in water. Whichever is lowest, it will go to that state. It will be part of that state. It will be part of that state. So that is your section 9 of your IGST Act. Now, the another area, the 10, the only two provisions where you have to put 5 star, for sure questions will be there, is 10 and 12. The next area, 10 and your 12. You will find 12 running in multiple pages, correct? 10 and 12. 12 talks about place of supply for services. Place of supply for services. I'll make your life very, very simple and basic. Always remember that in 12 there are multiple servers which are coming. So you have to be very clear which service. You have to be very, very clear which service. Extremely clear. What is the service that we are talking about? If the service is not covered anywhere, then supposing CA service is not covered anywhere, then the answer depends if the recipient is registered with B2B. I'll call it as B2B. Recipient is registered means if it is B2B transaction. If it is B2B, location of that recipient. If it is B2C, if you know his address, now it is full address, not state. Now it is full address, not only state. If you know his address, his place. If you don't know his address, your place. Don't you think that the entire thing that we have discussed in goods, forget about special cases. This was only this. For service, it is given in a very simple way. B2B means go with recipient. B2C, if you know the recipient place, full address now. Go with recipient address. If you don't know his place, your address. Location supplier, it is your address. So, if DK of Tamil Nadu, DK, Chartered Accountant of Tamil Nadu, is providing services to VK of Madhya Pradesh. If I tell, if the question tells VK of Madhya Pradesh is registered, your answer will always be Madhya Pradesh. If VK is not registered, if you are aware of his address, full address, not state, unlike goods, it is not only state, full address, then Madhya Pradesh. If you are not aware of his address, Tamil Nadu. Clear? Clear? Next, we are talking about special services, specific services. This section 12 subsection 2 will come if it is not covered anywhere else. If it is not covered, now it is specific cases, special cases. Special in your goods, special cases are only two. In your services, special cases are many. Special cases are many. First, it is training and performance appraisal. Training and performance appraisal. There, if it is B2B, B2B means simple. If you know his address. If you don't know his address, it is training and performance appraisal. So if you don't know his address, it is the place of performance, which means where it is actually performed, where training is actually taken, Now let us understand this. If at all, I give an example where Mr. DK of Tamil Nadu is training the employee of VK of Madhya Pradesh. Now it is not legal services, it's training the employees. If I tell the recipient, VK of Madhya Pradesh is registered. If VK of Madhya Pradesh is registered, I will not be worrying. Answer is always Madhya Pradesh. If VK of Madhya Pradesh is registered, whether the training happens in Tamil Nadu or Goa or Maldives, answer is always Madhya Pradesh. If VK is registered, if the recipient is registered, answer is always Madhya Pradesh. Question will try to give you training happened this place, that place, which you had discussed even in your yesterday's exam paper. Irrelevant. Answer is always Madhya Pradesh. But if the recipient is unregistered, then if training happens in Tamil Nadu. If the training happens in Goa. If the training happens outside India, Maldives. If it is B2B, please focus. It is B2B means you will go with recipient's place. Wherever training happens, it is recipient's place. If it is B2C, if training happens in Tamil Nadu, Goa. Training happens in Maldives, you go with that. So similar to training and performance appraisal, these services are actually a case where you're talking about performance on individuals. So there could be another performance on individual related services where basically you're talking about next category, related category. I am taking the related. In your text, it is hardly 1 or 2 pages only. So here slides are many. Same repeated slides are there. So if at all you're talking about performance on individuals, but this time performance is not training and performance appraisal. It is restaurant, outdoor catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services including cosmetic and plastic surgery. Don't you think that we have seen this in somewhere? Similar to the list in block credit, right? Why? It is personal consumption. That person should be there to give these services. Restaurant, outdoor catering, you should be there to give you the services. Personal grooming, you should be there to give you that services. Fitness, beauty, treatment, you should be there to give that services. Any health related services, including cosmetic, plastic surgery. Your presence is required for me to give that services. Your presence is required for me to give you that services. So why that is separate, this is separate? There it is training. There also your presence is required. If I want to give you training, coaching class, you should be here. Training performance appraisals includes this coaching class. You should be here. Yes, ma. Focus. You should be here. Now we are talking about all these other services. There B2B, B2C separate answer. Here, whether it is B2B or whether it is B2C, it is location of performance. You don't see the recipient status. So here, whether it is B2B or B2C, it is location of performance. You getting that? Why it is differentiated? So DK of Tamil Nadu, a fitness expert from Tamil Nadu, goes to Madhya Pradesh, goes to for assisting an actor VK of say Maharashtra. Let us assume that VK is of Maharashtra. DK is of Tamil Nadu, supplies of Tamil Nadu. VK, assume that he is of Maharashtra, a well-known actor in Maharashtra. But the training for fitness is given in Madhya Pradesh where the shooting is happening. Where the shooting is, where is the place of supply? Madhya Pradesh. That actor in Maharashtra may be registered. Now whether it is B2B or B2C, answer is Madhya Pradesh. Answer is Madhya Pradesh. Clear? Clear? So that is about performance-based services. First performance-based services was all about training and performance appraisal, training services. Second was other than training, restaurant, outdoor catering, personal grooming, fitness, health services, beauty treatment, cosmetic and plastic surgery. Other than training, other than performance, but other than training, Clear? So performance split into two. First category B2B, separate answer. B2C, separate answer. Second category, whether B2B or B2C, same answer. Likewise, now you're going to focus on event-based services. Organization of an event or ancillary services, including sponsorship to an event. Let us think of IPL event. Organizing that event, including sponsorship. Tata is sponsoring that event, including sponsorship services. If the recipient is registered, then B2B, registered person, location of registered person. If the recipient is not registered, if the event is in India, now you differentiate more. You ask one more question. If the event is in India, location of that particular event. If event is not in India, then location of recipient. You don't want answer to be outside India. If the event is in India, location of event. If the event is outside India, you fall back on location of recipient. You fall back on location of recipient. Now let us take the similar example to make you understand the difference. DK of Tamil Nadu is organizing an event for VK of Madhya Pradesh. VK of Madhya Pradesh. Recipient is VK. If I tell VK of Madhya Pradesh is registered, whether you will be bothered about the event, where event is happening? No. If VK is registered, answer is, I am not bothered whether the event is in Tamil Nadu or Goa or Maldives. Answer is, but if I tell VK, the recipient is unregistered, B2C, then I have to ask one more question. Is the event in India? If it is in Tamil Nadu, in India, answer is Tamil Nadu. If it is in Goa, it is in Tamil Nadu, it is in India, answer is Goa. But if it is Maldives, then I tell no, I cannot take it outside India. I want answer in India. Then again, you fall back on location of recipient. Location of Madhya Pradesh. You will find only one difference in the answer between your training services and event services. Only one difference. If B2B means answer is recipient. B2C means there it was performance, here it is event. There it was training, performance, here it is event. Only one difference you will find. What difference? In B2C, if it was a case of training services, if training happens outside India, answer was outside India. But if event is happening outside India, answer is not outside India, it is location of recipient. It is location of. So this is the only difference that you will find. Clear? Clear? So it is organization of an event. Organization of an event. But wait, yes please.
So what if the recipient is unregistered and its address was unknown?
Addresses? This generally for an event when you're organizing, it is a very hypothetical question. Please look at the question. You're actually organizing an event. பெரிய event பண்றீங்க. So telling that I don't know the recipient's address is actually very hypothetical. Correct? குட்டி உங்க ஃபேமிலியிலே ஒரு வெட்டிங் இருக்கு, ஈவென்ட் இருக்கு. Don't you think that when event is there, he has got all the information? Correct? So this is only a question which theoretically you can discuss. There is no answer for it. Obviously, they have not evaluated this because there cannot be a case of this. There actually cannot be a case of this. Therefore, they have not evaluated. They understand that this is actually not possible. Right. Now, for the same event, now we are talking about other services. Tickets. This was organizing an event, sponsorship of an event. IPL event is there. Organizers of IPL are there. For them, B2B, B2C answers. Sponsorship is there for IPL. B2B, separate answer. B2C, separate answer. Now we are not talking about organization of an event or sponsorship of an event. We are talking about tickets. We are talking about tickets. Admission to that event. Admission to that particular event. Now here they don't only stop at event, they tell that admission is not only restricted to an event, admission can be to any amusement park or any other place. So here they start with event. There it was organization of an event, sponsorship of an event. Here it is admission to an event, not only an event, admission to any place. Event means it will be temporary, place is permanent. Amusement park or any place. So they extend this. Admission ticket need not be only for watching a match. It could be for going to Taj Mahal. It could be for going to a park. It could be for going to Statue of Unity. Right? It could be for going to a temple. So it could be for going to Black Thunder. Correct? So it is not only about event, it is also about no place. They extended because tickets is not only for an event, you can buy tickets for entering into a particular place. So basically you're talking about tickets, entry fees. Now there, whether it is B2B or whether it is B2C, answer is same. It is location of that event or location of that place. Location of that event or location of that place. If DK of Tamil Nadu buys a ticket for a circus organized at UP by a company of Madhya Pradesh. Now, who's the supplier? Where is the circus company located? Madhya Pradesh. Supplier is of Madhya Pradesh. Recipient is DK, Tamil Nadu. Look at the wordings carefully. Don't think that the starting point is always supplier. The later word is no. Look at the words carefully. DK of Tamil Nadu is buying a ticket means he is paying for the ticket. He is recipient. And company of circus is located in Madhya Pradesh. Supplier is in Madhya Pradesh. But where that event is happening, where the circus event is happening? Uttar Pradesh. So, what is the place of supply? Now here B2B, B2C irrelevant. The recipient may be registered, may be unregistered, not at all asked. Whether B2B or B2C, answer is location of that event or location of that amusement park or the place. Location of that event or that place B2B or B2C, answer remains the same. Now, if you look at things carefully, how many services we have discussed? One is general service, then two based on performance, two based on events. Now, we are talking about your transportation of goods and transportation of passengers. Transportation of goods and transportation of... So, when you talk about transportation of goods, again goes to the same logic. If it is B2B, it is location of recipient. If it is B2C, then where the goods are handed over, initial part, where the goods are handed over, the starting part of the goods, not the end parts, where the goods are handed over for transportation. Right. If I take this example, DK of Tamil Nadu gives goods to GTA of Tamil Nadu for delivery to VK. Now, VK is of Madhya Pradesh. VK is of... Now, please think and tell me who's the supplier. DK of Tamil Nadu is giving the goods to Goods Transportation Agency for delivering to VK of Madhya Pradesh. Supplier is GTA. Now, recipient may be DK or may be VK. It depends who's making the payment. If I tell VK is paying the freight, if I tell VK is paying the freight, the moment I tell VK is making the freight, who's the recipient? The moment I tell VK is paying the freight, you'll only focus on VK. If VK is registered person, Madhya Pradesh. If VK is unregistered person, where the goods are handed over? Tamil Nadu. If I tell DK is paying the freight, if I tell DK is paying the freight, who's the recipient? Who's the recipient? DK becomes the recipient. It is either or. It cannot be both. Either it is VK or it is DK. Either it is VK or it is DK. If VK is paying the freight, if DK is paying the freight, then consignor is paying the freight. Consignor is the recipient. If the consignor is registered, where is the consignor located? Tamil Nadu. If the consignor DK is unregistered, even then where the goods are handed over for transportation? Answer is Tamil Nadu. Answer is Tamil Nadu. This is for goods transportation. B2B, B2C. B2B, likewise passenger transportation. Likewise passenger transportation. Passenger transportation. Answer is very simple for B2B. B2B always is location of recipient. B2C. B2C. Normal cases. Forget about complicated cases. Normal cases. If you know the address of the recipient, if you know the, B2C normal cases, it is where the passenger is entering the conveyance. Where the passenger is, it is actually very similar to goods. B2B or B2B for goods transportation, B2B for passenger transportation is recipient. B2C for goods transportation or B2C for passenger transportation is where the goods are starting their journey. Here where the passenger is entering for starting his journey. Where the goods are handed over for transportation. Where the passenger is entering the, embarking means what? Entering the conveyance for continuous journey. Entering the conveyance for continuous journey. Right. Now, if at all I tell DK of Tamil Nadu is paying 50,000 to Indigo of Madhya Pradesh. Supplier is Indigo Madhya Pradesh. Recipient is DK Tamil Nadu. If I tell DK is registered, answer is very basic and simple. If DK is registered in Tamil Nadu, answer is. If I tell DK is not registered and he is entering the conveyance, he is entering the train, or he's in this case he is entering the flight at Tamil Nadu, answer is Tamil Nadu. He is entering the flight neither at Tamil Nadu nor at Madhya Pradesh. He is entering the flight at Uttar Pradesh. Answer is Uttar Pradesh. It is neither Tamil Nadu nor Madhya Pradesh. He is entering the flight at Uttar Pradesh. Answer is Uttar Pradesh. Answer is Uttar Pradesh. Clear? But sir, in B2C there is one more case which you have not discussed. Is there is one more case which is called as pass case. Normal case and pass case. Normal case and right to passage is pass case. Everyone of sitting here has in your initial days might be either you have experienced or you have seen persons traveling with bus pass or train pass. Pass case. Right. So right to passage, which means for entire year you will pay a bulk amount and you will be taking the same route again and again by using the pass. By using the pass. So if at all it is a pass case where you have right to passage, you are not making the payment for one journey, you are making the payment for multiple journeys to happen. You are making the payment for multiple journeys to happen. Then you cannot actually tell where he is embarking the conveyance for continuous journey, because with the same pass he is going to enter inside that bus or train or flight multiple times. Correct? So in that case, if you know the address of the recipient, location of recipient. If you don't know the address of recipient, location of supplier. Sir, are we talking about pass case in all scenarios? No. Even if it is a pass case, but if you are a registered person, if the recipient is, see, when recipient is registered, forget about everything. Recipient is registered means answer is, so this issue will be coming when it is B2C case and a pass case. B2C case and a right to passage. That is, you having bus pass or train pass or air pass. Frequent travelers to say Indigo Airlines may take a pass telling that per annum will pay say 2 lakh rupees, allow us to travel within India for 30 times, any place to any place. Correct? If it is B2B, answer is very simple. Location of registered recipient. If it is B2C, then if at all it is a pass case, two conditions. It is B2C and it is a pass case. It is B2C and it is a pass case, right to passage. If DK's address is there on records, if Indigo knows DK's address, then Tamil Nadu. If Indigo is not aware of DK's address, then it is location of supplier. Where is Indigo located in this example? Madhya Pradesh. You'll go with Madhya Pradesh. Clear? Clear? So goods transportation, passenger transportation. B2B separate answer, B2C separate answer. But there is one more case which is there during passenger transportation. Services on board during conveyance. Services which are given on board a conveyance, which means when you're traveling, you get restaurant services. You get restaurant services. When you're traveling, you get entertainment services, watching movies on payment. On payment. Services on board a conveyance. It is not for ticket. It is not for ticket. It is for services on board when you're traveling in a conveyance. When you're traveling in a conveyance. There, the answer is the first point of departure of that conveyance. It is not when you are entering. It is the first schedule point of departure of that conveyance. If at all, DK of Tamil Nadu in his flight from Goa to Delhi via Mumbai buys movie on demand. The flight is starting from where? The flight is starting from where? So answer is Goa. This could happen that DK did not enter in Goa. DK might have entered in Mumbai. DK might have entered the flight at Mumbai. The answer still will remain? The answer still will remain Goa. If I were to give a very beautiful question merging all these concepts, think and answer. You're talking about a train starting at Kanyakumari. You're entering, one of the passengers is entering at Coimbatore. A t-shirt seller is entering at, say, Tirupur. And the destination of that particular train is, say, Mumbai. So this is Maharashtra. And this is all Tamil Nadu, Kanyakumari, Coimbatore and Tirupur. Now, passenger 1 is entering in Kanyakumari. Passenger 1 is registered in Delhi. Passenger 2 is who's entering in Coimbatore. Passenger 2 is also registered, but he is registered in West Bengal. Passenger 3 is unregistered person. All three passengers, when they are at Bangalore, they are having food and they are purchasing t-shirts. They are having food and they are purchasing t-shirts. The t-shirt vendor entered the train in Tirupur. The food vendor entered the train at Coimbatore. Now, what is the place of supply? 1 for passenger transportation service, 2 for services on board a conveyance, 3 goods supplied on board a conveyance. First for passenger 1, then for passenger 2, then for passenger 3. This is how ICA would ask the question, though this level of connectivity ICA has not done, but this is how ICA asks the question. What if this is that, that is that? Oh no, tell me. First, only focus on passenger transportation service. First, only focus on passenger transportation service. Forget about everything else. Ticket. Passenger 1, registered, unregistered. Louder, registered, unregistered. Answer is Delhi. Passenger 2, registered, unregistered. Registered in passenger 3. So, what is the entry point? Tirupur. Let us be very specific where it is specifically given. It is Tirupur. It is Tirupur. Tamil Nadu. Obviously, Tirupur, Tamil Nadu. What about services on board a conveyance? Food on board a conveyance. What is the place of supply? Whether it is passenger 1 or passenger 2 or passenger 3, answer is the same. It is the first schedule point of departure of that conveyance, of that train. So, answer is Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu. Answer is Kanyakumari, first schedule point of departure. What about T-shirts? T-shirts are not services, they are goods. Section 10. For both these things, you have used section 12. For this, you will use section 10. Where the goods are taken on board a conveyance. Where the goods are taken on board. The goods are taken on board a conveyance at Tirupur. Lot of information were irrelevant information. But they will be given to you. Clear? We have merged two provisions of section 12 and one provision of section 10 to understand this entire scenario. One is passenger transportation service, one is service supplied on board a conveyance, one is goods supplied on board a conveyance. Two for services and one is for supply of goods. Are you guys clear with this understanding? Now, the next service is insurance services. Insurance services, again, when you're talking about insurance services, if it is supplied B to B, location of the recipient. If it is supplied B to C, even if it is B to C, it is location of recipient only, which is available on records. If it is B to B, location of recipient. B to C also location of recipient, but whatever is available on records. Insurance cannot be taken without address. Correct? So you cannot have a scenario why, if at all it is not there, it cannot be there. So address will be surely there, available on records. So if I tell Mr. A working in Tamil Nadu is buying LIC policy by giving his residential address of Madhya Pradesh. Have I said A is registered? No. So it means he is unregistered. His place of supply is Madhya Pradesh. What address he has given to insurance company? Madhya Pradesh address. Place of supply is Madhya Pradesh. But if I tell VK, registered person of Tamil Nadu, buys the stock insurance policy, that is also insurance. One is life insurance, one is general insurance. So now it is, he is registered or unregistered? Registered or unregistered? Registered. So what is the place of supply? Is registered place, Tamil Nadu. His registered place. Now, the moment I tell insurance services, you will always be remembering one more related services. Insurance services, related services, banking. Right? For banking and financial services, including stockbroking services, including here B2B, B2C not relevant. For banking, financial services, including stockbroking services, B2B, B2C is not relevant. If you know the address of the recipient, his address. If you don't know the address, your address. If you know the address, go with his address. If you don't know the address, your own address. So, if at all DK of Tamil Nadu is buying shares from a broker in Madhya Pradesh, it is not banking and financial services, but it is stockbroking services which is covered here. Right? So, whenever it is a stockbroking services, address will be known to the broker or not known? Address will be known. So, place of supply will be Tamil Nadu. If address is known, go with recipient's address. If address is not known, then go with your address. Now, if you look at all these points carefully, you will find one thing very, very simple terms. there were few services where you had to bifurcate as B2B and B2C. General category, B2B separate answer, B2C separate answer. Performance, training performance, B2B separate answer, B2C separate answer. Other performances, B2B or B2C, including restaurant, outdoor catering, personal grooming, beauty treatment, health and fitness services, whether B2B, B2C, same answer. Event, organization of event, sponsorship of an event, B2B separate answer, B2C separate answer. Ticket, admission to event or a place, B2B or B2C, same answer. Goods transportation, passenger transportation, B2B separate answer, B2C separate answer. But service on board a conveyance, B2B or B2C, same answer. Insurance, B2B separate answer, B2C separate answer. But banking and financial services, including stockbroking, whether B2B or B2C, whenever B2B, B2C, same answer. So you don't differentiate that. If you know the address, go with the address. If you don't know the address, go with your address. If you know the address, go with customer's address. If you don't know customer's address, go with your address. Recipient is customer, go with your own address. Clear? So totally how many services we have seen? Now if you swipe back and finally you see you have already almost seen 10 services. 10 services. Now the 11th service and the last service that we are going to discuss. There are last two services which I am not going to touch, not important. Telecommunication service and government service. Government services has been asked only once. I'm not going to test it because a quality amount of time has to be spent there and it's not at all important. So basically services are only based on this category. So I'm only taking your important A and B part. C part I'm skipping. Entire section 10 completed. Section 12 90% completed. We are not only seeing telecommunication service and advertisement service to government. Not any advertisement service to normal person, general category. So it is only advertisement service to, we are not seeing that particular part. Now, immovable property related services. Whenever you talk about any immovable property related services like construction, architect service, real estate agent service, or accommodation by a hotel, staying in a hotel, or any ancillary services, immovable property related services. Here also, whether you are B2B or B2C does not matters. Whether you are B2B or B2C does not matters. And here they don't only touch immovable property related services, they also touch boat and vessel. If the immovable property, boat or vessel is there in India, then it is the location of immovable property, boat or vessel. If the immovable property, boat or vessel is outside India, then it is location of recipient. B2B, B2C, not relevant. Whether you are registered customer or unregistered customer, not relevant. If that immovable property or boat or vessel, Kerala, if you go to Kerala, you can get the houseboat services. Right? Difference is immovable property is same place. Boat, it keeps moving. So it is location. If it is in India, answer is location of that immovable property, boat or vessel. If it is outside India, location of recipient. Now let us try to understand this. Supposing DLF is engaged in drawing a design for construction of a building of Mr. DK of Tamil Nadu. So supplier is DLF, recipient is DK of Tamil Nadu. If DK is owning a building in USA, if the design is done for a building of DK which is there in USA, place of suppliers, location of recipient, Tamil Nadu. If DK is having his building at Madhya Pradesh for which DLF is making a design, then the answer is location of immovable property, location of Madhya Pradesh. If that immovable property is in India, go with that immovable property address. If it is not in India, go with recipient's address. Clear? Now, what I have not taken in your IGC yet. So, whatever you have taken, I think you have marked 5-star both for 10 and 12. In 12, I have not taken two services. Telecommunication services never asked till date. Lot of ifs and buts are there. And advertisement services to government. And certain routes. certain rules. Now, rules, at least I'll complete the rules because they are very basic and simple rules. Related rules. We have seen one service where you're talking about event. Correct? Event. If I tell event is in multiple states, supposing IPL event is in one city or multiple cities. So if event is in multiple states, if your place of supply is multiple answers, if the recipient is registered, you will never get a multiple answer. Answer is only one. If the recipient is unregistered, you might get multiple answers. You might get multiple answers. If you get multiple answers, then rule will help out. Rule 5 tells that place of supply will be all those multiple states. Supposing event is there in Tamil Nadu and Goa. Answer is Tamil Nadu and Goa. But how to split? Value is 1. You have to split the value. So split the value as per the contract. For some value for Tamil Nadu, some value for Goa. But if you cannot do, go with generally accepted accounting principles. Some logic, some basic logic. For example, if there is an event for which supply is charging 10 lakhs for 3 events in state 1 and 2 events in state 2. Totally he is going to do 5 events, 5 shows. Totally a singer is going to perform in 5 places. 3 places are there in Tamil Nadu state and 2 places are there in Goa. How you will you split the value? 10 lakhs, how will you split the value? 10 lakhs is the common value for all the 5 events. 3 events are going to happen in state 1, Tamil Nadu. 2 events are going to happen in state 2, Goa. How are you going to split that 10 lakhs into 2 states? 3 is to simple. 6 lakhs would be for Tamil Nadu and 4 lakhs would be for Goa. Clear? This is a very basic rule. This rule is one rule is for event. Sir, whether we'll use event rule always? No. If it was B2B, if it was B2B, we don't require this rule. Why? Answer is location of registered recipient. We don't require it. If it is B2C plus events is at multiple place and value is 1. And value is, and the contract is not giving the bifurcation. Contract is not giving the multiple conditions. First it should be B2C. Event should be in multiple places. And contract is not giving the bifurcation. Then you require this. Then you require this. Same thing is true with your immobile property. Now, immobile property, please understand whether it is B2B or B2C doesn't make a difference. For immobile property, always you will take the help of Rule 4. You will take the help of Rule 4. Now, first I'll talk about houseboat. Because it covers not only immobile property, it also covers vessels and boat. Supposing you are going in a boat in Kerala. Right. So guests are boarding houseboat in Kerala. That boat is going in Kerala for 22 hours and then in Tamil Nadu it is there for 2 hours. There will be a logbook. So the time spent by the boat, it will keep moving. It has spent 22 hours in Kerala and 2 hours in. What is the logical answer that you get? So place of supply is both Tamil Nadu and Kerala. In which proportion you will bifurcate? 22:2. It is based on time spent on the boat in each of that state. It is based on time spent by that boat in each of that state. So it is 22:2, which is 11:1. You will split that value. You will split that. Answer is both Tamil Nadu and Kerala, but you have to split the value. You have to split the value in the ratio of 22:2 for Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In the ratio of 22:2 for Kerala and Tamil Nadu. This is one category. Now, we are not talking about boat anymore. We are talking only about now immobile property. Immobile property, there can be a lot of services. We are talking about a particular service which is accommodation services. Staying in hotel. Stay. You're going for a family trip. You're staying in hotel. Now, stay in hotel. Just think normally and answer me. If at all I tell that you have gone for a tour via Hina Tours and Travels, you are staying 3 nights Taj Hotel Delhi and 2 nights Taj Hotel Jammu. 3 nights Taj Hotel Delhi, 2 nights Taj Hotel Jammu. Answer would be because you have spent, it is a common package. It is a common The contract is not giving the bifurcation. So what would be the basis? It would be based on the number of nights in each of that property. In each of that, I'm not taking that example because I already said it. So if at all you are going and paying say 1 lakh rupees to Taj Hotel for 3 night stays in Delhi and 2 night stays in Jammu, answer is both Delhi and Jammu because immovable properties are in Delhi as well as Jammu. So it is basically 3:2. But what if I talk about other immovable property related services? In case of other immovable property related services like construction or real estate agent service or works contract, right? Also one particular service, accommodation service, where the property itself is located in multiple states. The property itself is located in. So accommodation, normal accommodation, previous point, this is special accommodation. See, in the previous example I said Taj Hotel in Delhi, 3 nights. Taj Hotel in Jammu, whether Taj Hotel were one Taj Hotel or two Taj Hotels. Now I am talking about one hotel which is spread across 2 states, boundary. Anaikatti is a classic example. Few resorts may be spread across Tamil Nadu and partly across. Okay, just think, don't even see it. What should be the logical proportion? Simple, area, based on the area. Based on area. So supposing the total area is 30,000 square feet, 20,000 is in Tamil Nadu, 10,000 is in Kerala. So what will be the proportion? 2:1. It will be 2:1. Clear? So how rules are given is very logical rules. First is for houseboat, time spent. Second is for normal accommodation where it is number of night stays. Third is special accommodation, single property in multiple places, plus other immovable property related services like construction or engineering services or works contract, etc. Square feet. It is based on area. That's all. So this is all and all about your place of supply. Now you are prepared for any questions, whatsoever questions are asked from your place of supply. You are prepared, right? So that completes our discussion related to place of supply. So before I stop by about 4 o'clock, we'll take one simple analysis of your document chapter. The last session will be only focused on your RCM and exemption, right? So document chapter, one very important area, very important area, which will be there is your e-invoicing, and you need not see everything. All you have to see is second point here, 5-star. E-invoice QR code versus e-payment QR code. E-invoice QR code versus e-payment QR code. Repeatedly asked question. Whether e-invoicing is applicable for all? No. E-invoice is applicable only for those suppliers where aggregate turnover is more than 5 crores in any of the preceding financial year from 17-18. For the first time we are seeing these wordings. Now we are into financial year 25-26. So any of the preceding financial year from 17-18 means 17-18 or 18-19 or 19-20 or 20-21 or 21-22 or 22-23 or 23-24 or 24-25. Any of these 8 years, any, not all, in any of these 8 years, if it is more than 5 crores, e-invoice is applicable. And what is the beauty of this, right? Once it is applicable forever. That is the reason they have given any. Once applicable forever. Once applicable forever. You will not see every year. Once applicable, it is applicable forever. What is the criteria? 5 crores. Which year? Any of the preceding financial year, right, starting from 17-18. What is the criteria for e-payment QR code? e-payment QR code, which means allowing your customer to scan and make digital payment. Allowing your customer to scan and make digital payments. There, it is more than 500 crores. Same language. It is applicable for those suppliers whose aggregate turnover, is more than 500 crores. 5 crores is replaced by 500 crores. Language is same. Any of the preceding financial year, right, starting from once applicable, always applicable. Once applicable, always applicable. Clear? But wait, there are few people, even though they are covered by this criteria of 5 crores or 500 crores, they will not be having e-invoice QR code, they will not be having e-payment QR code. What are the special persons? Common special persons. Common special persons are banking sector, insurance sector, goods transportation agency, passenger transportation service, multiplex. I repeat, banking sector, insurance sector, goods transportation service, passenger transportation service, and your multiplex. Clear? These 5 sectors. No e-invoice QR code, no e-payment QR code for any of their transaction, including sale of capital goods by them. For any of their transaction, not applicable. Banks generally gets interest, but it may also decide to sell capital goods. Even for that, no, not applicable. For them, not at all applicable. Now, special cases. Your e-invoice QR code is not applicable for these 5 sectors. Banks, insurance, GTA, passenger transportation, and multiplex. In addition to, it is also not applicable to government. For government department, local authority means government, central government, state government, local authority. It is not applicable for government and SEZ unit. It is applicable for SEZ developer. In SEZ, you have units and one developer. So it is not applicable for SEZ units. Is it applicable for SEZ developer? See in bracket. It is applicable for developer of SEZ. What are the total sectors for which e-invoice QR code is not applicable? 7. Banks, insurance, GTA, passenger transportation service, multiplex, government, and SEZ units. Now, for e-payment QR code, it is banks, insurance, GTA, passenger transportation service, multiplex, and OIDRS from outside India to non-taxable online recipient. App owners, the apps that you have in your phone, online information and database access and retrieval services, be it Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram or any gaming apps, whatever apps, they're all OIDRS. If the supplier is outside India and you are making the payment for certain apps, e-payment QR code is not applicable. E-payment QR code is not applicable. So first you understand for which suppliers it is applicable and which suppliers it is not applicable. Correct? So what you understood, which suppliers it is applicable, which suppliers it is not applicable. Right? But wait, this is supplier applicability. This is supplier applicability. Whether e-invoice is applicable for all the transactions. No, now it is transaction. It is not, even if you are covered by that 5 crores and you are not covered by these special sectors. E-invoice is there only for B2B supplies and exports. B2B supplies and exports. It is not applicable for B2C. It is not applicable for, and e-payment QR code is mutually exclusive. Exactly opposite. B2C supplies other than export. E-invoice QR code B2B plus export. Export technically is B2C. You know? When you talk about your customer outside India, obviously they are not registered in India. So B2B plus exports, e-invoice QR code. E-payment QR code, exactly ulta. B2C supplies other than export. Other than, they are mutually exclusive. Wait, whether this is sufficient? No. First, you should fit in that supplier. Second, it should be that particular transaction. Third, supplier 5 crores criteria not covered by 7 cases. Not covered by. Second, B2B and exports. Third, what document? It is only applicable for tax invoice, debit note and credit note. Not all the documents. Tax invoice, debit note and credit note. Right. E-invoice QR code is applicable for a supplier whose aggregate turnover is more than 5 crores in that any of the preceding financial year from 17-18, for their B2B who are not covered by special 7 sectors for their B2B supplies and export transactions only when they are issuing tax invoice, credit note and debit note. So e-invoice will be against tax invoice, debit note or credit note. Whereas your e-payment QR code is applicable for a supplier whose turnover is more than 500 crores in any of the preceding financial year right from 17-18, not covered by six categories for their B2C supplies other than export on their tax invoice and bill of supply only. Collection is only on tax invoice and bill of supply. Tax invoice and bill of supply. Clear? Only when you pass all the 3 stages, supplier criteria, transaction criteria, document criteria, then you can write your answer that yes, it is applicable or not. Supplier, transaction and document. Supplier, transaction and the purpose of e-invoice QR code is to avoid bill trading, fake invoice. The purpose of e-payment QR code is digital payments, promoting the customers to make. Force is on only on supplier. As a supplier, I'll show QR code on my system. You may make digital payment, you may not make. That is your wish. That is your wish. I cannot. Government is not forcing the customer to make digital payment. Government is forcing the supplier to show a facility so that in front of you, you'll have a digital payment option. Decathlon. You go there. In front of you, there is a system where invoice is not only Decathlon, lot of pantaloons, lot of showrooms where they'll show you the system. B2C transactions, correct? B2C. So here there will be a system. Sir, QR code is there even in small shop and they are talking about 500 truths. That small shop QR code is not this QR code. That small shop is static QR code. You have to enter the amount. Then only you can make the final payment will be done. Dynamic QR code means invoice itself will have the QR code. The moment you scan it, amount also is pre-filled. All you have to give is your PIN. All you have to give is your PIN. Right? So this is all about your e-invoice QR code and e-payment QR code. E-invoice QR code and e-invoice QR code is through a government portal. www.e-invoice1gsc.gov.in till 10 websites. You can access only first. Balance 9 is by GSC Suvidha providers, software companies. Whereas e-payment QR code, you have to create. You have to appoint a software vendor. You have to design your own software so that every invoice is having QR code. So that is another difference. So your invoice registration portal is there. For e-invoice, it is a government portal, invoice registration portal. And every invoice will have government signature also. Government person signature also. And that will have a 64 digits invoice registration number, IRN. If you scan it, you will get 64 digits invoice registration number. Whereas e-payment QR code, you go to a software vendor, ask him how to make a QR code for every of my invoice. It is not routed through a government website or government portal. Government is not the person who is going to give this QR code. It is you have to go to a private software vendor and he will be making QR code for every invoice which will be reflected on the system in front of the customer. Right. So that is another area. Now, when you talk about your document chapter, additionally, if you look at this particular chapter, it will actually touch every aspect of this. So here, please mark 5-star for your revised tax invoice, credit note and debit note. Revised tax invoice, credit note and repeatedly asked questions. Revised tax invoice, debit note and your credit note. Out of all these, repeatedly asked is revised tax invoice, debit note and credit note. Okay. So when you talk about, I'll only highlight that particular area, and other than that, I'll highlight one more point. All the invoices in this chapter are from whose point of view? Supplier's point of view. They're all from supplier's point of view. There are only 2 documents which are from recipient's point of view, which are self-invoice and payment voucher. Self-invoice, they are RCM documents. They are RCM documents. Self-invoice and and payment voucher are RCM documents. The moment it is RCM documents, it is from whose point of view? RCM means whose point of view? So these two documents are from recipient's point of view. They are from recipient's point of view. Second, all the documents including self-invoice and payment voucher are issued by registered person. Are issued by only one document can be given by unregistered person. Delivery challan. Only one document can be given by unregistered person also. Delivery challan. I repeat, all the documents are only from supplier's point of view. Two documents which are given by recipient are self-invoice and payment voucher. All the documents which are here are only given by a registered person. Only document which can be given by unregistered person is delivery challan. Delivery challan. Right. In what all situations all these documents are given? And what is the time? Simple question, very basic question. I'll just ask one point. If these answer me, we'll not be seeing this point. I am a composition taxable person. What document? Louder. Any item, bill of supply. Any item, taxable or exempt item. Any item. I am a regular taxable person. Taxable item. Taxable item. Exempt item. Bill of supply. Composition scheme dealer, always bill of supply. Taxable person, taxable item. And exempt item. Regular taxable person giving taxable item and exempt item together. He can supply taxable item and exempt item together. If you go to a confectionery store, you will purchase taxable products as well as exempt products. So that document is called as combo document. Tax invoice come, bill of supply. Tax invoice come, but that is applicable only if the recipient is. Sir, if at all I purchase from a supplier taxable items and exempt item, and if the recipient is registered, two documents. Combo document will not work, then there will be two documents. For taxable item, tax invoice. For exempt item, then what is this tax invoice come bill of supply? It is a single document. It is a single document. Tax invoice come bill of supply, but condition is recipient should be unregistered. Recipient should be unregistered. When is delivery challan given? When there is no supply, delivery challan. When there is no supply, look at the first point. You are supplying some liquid item or gaseous item where you are not sure of the exact quantity. We are not sure of the exact. I am going to supply you 100 units, but I don't know how many you are going to purchase. So what document? Delivery challan. What document? I know you are going to order something, but I don't know how much. What document? Principal giving goods to customer. Principal giving goods to job worker. Principal giving fabric to job worker. Job worker returning shirt to principal. No supply. Principal to job worker fabric is not supplied. Delivery challan. Job worker to principal shirt is not supplied. Delivery challan. Job work will charge. Job worker will charge, but only for job working charges. Only for, not for the shirt. Not for the shirt. So this will be supply of services. That is a separate thing. Delivery challan. So what are the cases where you will give delivery challan? In simple, when there is no supply, delivery challan. When there is no supply, or you are not sure of the exact quantity of supply, delivery challan. Sale on approval basis. When you are sending the goods on sale on approval basis, what document? Delivery challan. You are not sure what is going to be purchased. Delivery challan. Right. Revised tax invoice. We have discussed in the morning. What is the purpose of revised tax invoice? Allowing your customer to take the credit when you have made sales between the process of registration. But that is possible only when? Only when you have taken the registration within, you have applied for registration within 30 days. So for the sales, in that example, for the sales made between 10th April to 6th of June, I'm continuing that example. 10th April, I was liable. I applied on, say, 5th of May. Did I apply within 30 days? Yes. I got the registration on 6th of June. For the sales made from 10th of April, I am liable for registration. Till 6th of June, I got my registration, grant of registration. I'll be giving revised tax invoice. My accounting invoice, normal invoice will be converted to revised tax invoice, because till now I did not have my GST number. I did not have my, so I was not putting my GST number. And for recipient to take the credit, one of the important ingredient is GST number of both supplier and recipient. So now I'll convert my accounting invoice to GST invoice, revised tax invoice. Revised tax invoice. Revised tax invoice. Now, before I go more in detail of revised tax invoice, let me complete that tax invoice, bill of supply, and your delivery challan time limit. In what time I have to give? What is the time limit for me to give the tax invoice? Normally, for goods, no time. The moment the goods are going outside, give the invoice. The moment the goods are going outside, give the invoice. For services, 30 days. For services, for goods, it is immediately. For services, are there special cases? Yes, there are certain special cases also. But normally, for goods, immediately. For services, what about delivery challan? Immediately. Goods only. The goods are going outside. Immediately. Immediately. Now coming back at revised tax invoice. Revised tax invoice is to allow my customers to take the credit. Two cases, birth and rebirth. One is birth at the time of new registration. One is rebirth, revocation of suspension. My registration is suspended. Then after few months, it is again revoked. Again for few months, I made sales, but I could not give GST tax invoice. Now for those few months, I'll be giving revised tax invoice. Revised. So at the time of birth, 30 days condition. Rebirth, no condition. Time of birth, 30 days condition. Rebirth, no condition. Till what time I have to give revised tax invoice? I have to give within 1 month. I have to give within 1 month of birth or 1 month of rebirth. I have to give 1 month of birth, grant of registration, or 1 month of rebirth, revocation of suspension. I have to give my revised tax invoice. Supposing my registration is received on 6th of June. Now for all the sales made between 10th of April to 6th of June, I can give revised tax invoice, but that has to be given within 6th of July. 6th of birth or rebirth, 1 month. What is the difference between birth and rebirth? For birth, there's a criteria. For birth, there's a criteria. At the time of birth, you can give revised tax invoice only if you have applied for registration within. For rebirth, no criteria, automatic. You are already registered, it was suspended, now again it is revoked. So no criteria. You are already registered. It was suspended, it is revoked. Time limit is same. 1 month from grant of registration, birth, or 1 month from revocation of suspension, rebirth. Right. Credit note, debit note. Credit note is for increasing or decreasing. Everything is from supplier's point of view. Think only from supplier's point of view. Decreasing. Credit note is for decreasing. Decreasing the value, decreasing the tax. Supply return also decreases. Supply return means also you are going to decrease it. Or deficiency supply, which means quantity deficiency or quality deficiency. I have raised invoice for 1 lakh units, but actually it was only 90,000 units. I'll give credit note for 10,000 units. I have raised invoice for 1 lakh units, X quality, but it is only X1 quality, a reduced quality. I'll give a credit note. Decrease in value, decrease in tax, supply return, deficiency in supply. Deficiency in, that deficiency can be quality or quantity. Debit note is increasing or decreasing? Increasing. Increase in taxable value or increase in tax? Increase in taxable value or increase in tax? Now please understand, whether it is credit note or debit note is optional. Credit note, government is happy or unhappy? Government is happy or unhappy? You are paying extra output tax or you are reversing output tax? You are reversing? So government tells no. You may give GST credit note, or you may give only accounting, financial credit note. Don't put GST. Don't put. It is optional, and even if you are putting, there's a time limit which we have discussed multiple times. Be it your ITC chapter, be it your written chapter, rectification of returns, or be it your document chapter, credit note. Credit note, government is not happy, so first it is optional. It is Second detail, there's a time limit. 30th November of next financial year or actual date of annual return, whichever is earlier. For debit note, is it mandatory or optional? Mandatory. It has to be issued immediately when that situation arises. When that situation arises. Mandatory. Is there any end time limit? Even after 5 years you issue, you have to issue. What will happen is now you'll pay extra GST but with interest for 5 years. You have to issue. It is mandatory. Is there any end time limit? Credit note has got an end time limit. Debit note has got no end time limit because the later you are going to raise debit note, you will pay tax with more interest. Tax with more interest. Right. Now, when you're talking about RCM documents, please understand it is applicable only in RCM scenario. Both the documents are applicable only in RCM case. First case, self-invoice is nothing but tax invoice raised by the recipient. But first case, there are two conditions. First, it should be RCM. Second, it should be from unregistered supplier. If it is from registered supplier, self-invoice will not come. RCM plus unregistered supplier. RCM plus unregistered supplier. Whereas payment voucher is applicable in case of RCM. When payment is made by the recipient to the supplier, it is applicable in all RCM cases, whether the payment is made to registered supplier or unregistered supplier. Self-invoice technically is not the word. Tax invoice raised by the recipient is the right word. Right? So it is applicable. One, RCM. Second, supplier is unregistered. Supplier is payment voucher. Only one condition. It should be RCM. When you're making the payment to supplier, supplier may be registered, may be unregistered. And self-invoice amendment for the very first time for your exams. Time limit is given. Time limit is given. Self-invoice, as it is an amendment, I'm marking it as 3-star. Right, self-invoice is to be raised within 30 days. Self-invoice is to be raised within 30 days of receiving that goods or services. Earlier, it has to be raised immediately, but now they have given. And please remember, this 30 days is not only for service, it is also for goods. This is done by recipient. So, self-invoice, 30 days, whether it is goods or services, received from the unregistered supplier. Payment voucher, same thing, immediately when the recipient is making the payment to the supplier. When the recipient is making the payment to the supplier, whether the supplier is registered supplier or unregistered supplier. Payment voucher. And finally, your receipt voucher and refund voucher. These are applicable only for service sector. Why? Only in service sector, GST is applicable on advances. GST is applicable on advances. So when you receive the advance, you will raise receipt voucher. You will raise receipt voucher immediately when you are receiving the advance. Immediately when you are receiving the advance. When normally receipt voucher is followed by tax invoice. If I have received advance of 1 lakh, I'll pay GST on 1 lakh and my total contract value is 5 lakhs. Then later on I'll give invoice for 5 lakhs. Not for 4 lakhs. I'll give invoice for 5 lakhs. I'll pay on 4 lakhs. I'll adjust that amount that is already paid. But I'll give invoice for 5 lakhs. So receipt voucher normally is followed by tax invoice for the entire value including advance. But very rarely receipt voucher may result into refund voucher. Advance is received but the work is cancelled and refund is given. And refund voucher is given when the advance which is received against the taxable supply does not materialize, which means the work is cancelled. And tax invoice is not raised. Till now, tax invoice is not raised. In such a case, refund voucher will be given immediately at the time of refund. But please understand, refund voucher I cannot adjust in my return. That tax that I have paid on 1 lakh rupees, when I give refund voucher, on 1 lakh I have paid 18,000. On refund voucher, I cannot adjust in my return. Supposing receipt or advance is received in April and refund is given in December. I have paid 18,000 in April. In December, I cannot reverse 18,000. I have to apply for refund. Clear? Now, this completes our all the documents summary. Please understand there is one MCQ which has been asked in receipt voucher. if at all, I have to pay GST and advances, but I don't know which item the customer is going to order. I am dealing with multiple items, 5%, 12%, 18%. Which rate I have to apply? If I am getting an advance against 5%, I'll apply 5%. If I am getting an advance against 12%, I'll apply 12%. If I am getting an advance against 18%, I'll apply. But if I get an advance without telling that which item he is going to purchase, I'll go with. He'll not go with highest or lowest. Assume there is no 18. Even if there is no 18, I'll go with 18. If you're not sure of the rate of tax, apply 18. If you're not sure of the rate of tax, apply 18. Apply 18. If you're not sure of the type of tax, supposing a customer is having branch in multiple states, and if he's not telling in which state he wants that item, if you're not sure of the type of tax, go with IGST. Go with. He may be taking those goods within Tamil Nadu, CGST, SGST, or he may be taking those goods to a branch in Maharashtra. You are not sure. If you're not sure, go with. If you're sure, go with CGST, SGST, or go with IGST as the case may be. If you're not sure, go with. If you're not sure of type of tax, go with IGST. If you're not sure of rate of tax, go with 18%. Not highest or lowest, go always with 18%. So these are all certain areas. Rather, here the important areas were only your revised tax invoice, credit note and debit note. Repeatedly asked question. Repeatedly asked question, revised tax invoice, debit note and credit note. And self-invoice time limit, I have put 3-star because it is the amendment which is applicable for the very first time to you. Earlier they did not give any time limit, now they are giving time limit. Right? So that is all about documents. Now one chapter which we may not touch, but mark that as 3-star. Might be it will take another half an hour for you to go through yourself. Time of supply. Time of supply. Time of 3-star. Hardly 3-4 pages chapter you will find in the text. Time of supply. So we may not be seeing due to the scarcity of time, but mark it as 3-star. Very basic. What is the situation? What is the time of supply? Very, very basic. So don't skip that. Time of supply. Time of. So every 3-4 question papers you will find at least one time of supply. So it is not so important and all. I'm not putting 5-star and all, but yes, it comes. It comes. So maybe if you say 4 question papers, in one of the question paper, last 4 question papers, in one of the question paper you may find time of supply. So not extremely important, but go through. Don't miss that. Right? 2-3 pages is easy for you and very simple concept. Rather, you would have found time of supply as the most simplest chapter when you have read GST for the very first time. Directly, this is the situation, this is the answer. Directly apply the answer. Time of supply will decide the due date of payment. So this completes our entire discussion about all the chapters. The only chapter that we are now going to discuss is all about your RCM and with few exemptions. RCM and exemptions. Yes, we'll take the break. Last topic to discuss for our discussion is your RCM read with few exemptions. Now exemptions, finally I'll be giving a list of important exemption entries. That is only to be familiar with. So I may not touch all the exemption entries out of important. Maybe government is one service I'll be touching it. Other exemptions also I'll touch it, might be not so important. So I'll give you a list of 7-8 important exemption entries. And here, if time was there, I would have gone another 1.5 hours going through all those exemption entries. But those exemption entries mandatory you have to go through. And anyways, that is more of repetition. There's no concept involved. Unlike everything else that we have discussed in the last 2 days, there's no concept involved in exemption. The basic concept is if it is essential, exempt, not essential, taxable. So definition of essential and not essential will keep varying with the conditions. So now we'll focus on your RCM and ECO. First we'll go with your 9.5. So section 9.5 tells that you're talking about a scenario where neither supplier will pay tax nor recipient will pay tax. It is the third person who will pay tax. So ECO will pay tax for that transaction. Now let us understand when I tell this. Supposing you're talking about supply of services through ECO. Say for example, passenger transportation service. In all the examples, we'll understand that I am traveling, say, by a taxi through Ola. I am going to pay 1,000 rupees to the taxi owner. And that taxi owner will pay 100 rupees commission to Ola. Now, Ola to taxi owner is one supply. Ola to taxi owner is one supply for 100 rupees. And taxi owner to me is another supply for 1,000 rupees. There are actually two contracts. Ola to taxi owner for 100 rupees, one supply. And taxi owner to me, 1,000 rupees service charges, another supply. If it is not covered by 95, Ola will pay GST only on 100 and taxi owner will pay GST on 1,000. Taxi owner will pay GST on, and on that 100, taxi owner will get the credit. So Ola will pay output tax on 100, taxi owner will get the credit. And then taxi owner will pay tax on 1,000. If I am eligible, I'll get the credit, depending on that. Correct? Now what is happening in 95? This entire two contracts is converted to one. So normally if it is not covered by 95, if I am telling it is not covered by 95, because we will find the case where it is not covered by 95, Eco will pay tax on 100 FCM. Ola will pay tax on 100 FCM. And taxi owner will pay tax on 1,000 FCM. But what happens if it is covered in 95? When it is covered in 95, you merge both the contracts into one. You treat them as one contract. In reality, they are two contracts. But you treat them as one contract. Who is going to pay? Eco. Ola is going to pay. On what? On entire 1,000. On entire. Now understand, for Ola 1,000 rupees was never his supply. For Ola 1,000 rupees was never his. 1,000 rupees was supply of the taxi owner. 1,000 rupees was the value of supply for the taxi owner. For Ola it was only 100. Now who's paying tax? Ola is paying tax on 1,000. Please understand, for this 1,000 rupees, Ola is neither the supplier nor the recipient. See this transaction. For this 1,000 rupees, Ola is neither the supplier nor the. That is why we call it as 95 case. Supplier is not paying, recipient is not paying. For that 1,000 rupees, supplier is taxi owner and I was the recipient. Neither the supplier is paying tax on this 1,000 rupees nor the recipient is paying tax on this 1,000 rupees. Who's paying? Ola, e-commerce operator. For the 1,000 rupees, Ola is neither the supplier nor the recipient. Third person. It is the third person. 95 case. Right. Now understand, there are 4 notified services in 95. And please understand, in all these 4 cases, it is highly possible that it may not be covered by 95. It is very true also with RCM. Okay. Just by seeing the type of service, you cannot decide whether it is FCM or RCM. Yesterday's exam paper was a beautiful exam paper to give that hint. Security services given, but no RCM. Renting of motor vehicle given, but no. Just remembering that will not help you. These are the 4 notified services where 95 may be applicable if they are supplied through Eco. If they are supplied through, first is passenger transportation service. Classic example is these services are supplied through, say, for example, Ola, Uber, etc. Right. Prima facie, it is under Eco. Right. Be it motor cab or maxi cab or radio taxi or motorcycle or omnibus or any other motor vehicle, which means it can be 2-wheeler, 4-wheeler or bus. A big 4-wheeler, 2-wheeler, 4-wheeler or a big 4-wheeler. Motorcycle is covered. Rapido is covered. Right. Ola is covered. So your motor cab, maxi cab, radio taxi is covered. Omnibus and other motor vehicle, that is also covered. Every motor vehicle is covered. Every motor vehicle is covered. But there is one exception. If you are talking about omnibus, if you are talking about bus, if the supplier of bus himself is company, if the supplier of bus is company, we are not talking about supplier of 2-wheeler or cars, supplier of omnibus is a company, then Eco will not apply. When I tell Eco will not apply, what will happen? What will happen? Red bus, say for example, supplier of bus is supplying bus seats to Red bus. Red bus will pay GST on 100 rupees commission and supplier of bus will pay GST on 1,000 rupees service charges. Both are FCM. Then this will apply. If 95 is not applicable, what will happen? Eco will pay GST on its commission, FCM. and supplier will pay GST on his service charges FCM. But when? Only when supplier of omnibus. We are not talking about supplier of motor cab, maxi cab, radio taxi, motorcycle or any other motor vehicle. Supplier of omnibus. Bus is a company, private limited or a public limited company. Then what will happen? It is neither, then 9(5) will not apply. Payment will be there. But eco, that red bus is eco here, will pay on its commission 100 rupees, and that supplier of omnibus, owner of the bus, will pay GST on that 1000 rupees service charges. Simple. That is the first category. Second category and third category, we'll read it together. Your accommodation services. Classic example is you're booking hotel rooms through Trivago or Oyo. Accommodation services. Getting accommodation services through Eco. You're booking the hotel through Trivago or Oyo. Housekeeping services. You're getting the services of plumber, carpenter, etc. through Urban Clap. See, all these services through Eco. Through Eco. So, through Urban Clap. That is the classic example. In both these cases, prima facie, let us assume the same numbers. Commission of Oyo is 100. Commission of Urban Clap is 100. The main service charges for the hotel is 1000. The main service charges for the plumber or carpenter is 1000. What will happen? Prima facie, who will pay GST? Who will pay GST? If it is booking the hotel room through Oyo, who will pay GST? Oyo will pay GST. Oyo will pay GST on entire 1000. On entire, not on its commission, on entire 1000. And if you are booking plumber or carpenter through Urban Clap, who will pay GST? Urban Clap will pay GST. Urban Clap commission is only 100, but it will pay GST on entire 1000 service charges of the plumber or the carpenter, for which it is neither the supplier nor the recipient. But wait, what if I tell hotel itself is big, or plumber or carpenter itself is big, they can take care of themselves? 9(5) will apply or not apply? So if the supplier of hotel, which means supposing the hotel, you are booking Taj Hotel through Oyo. Oyo is not the right way. So you are booking Taj Hotel through Trivago. Right? Taj Hotel is big. How to define it as big? It is liable for registration. It is crossing the turnover limit of 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Service means 20 lakhs or it can take care itself. Then what will happen? 2 FCM. Trivago will pay GST on commission 100. Taj Hotel will pay GST on room charges, accommodation charges 1000. FCM. Right? If I tell the plumber or the carpenter himself is liable for registration, the plumber's turnover or the carpenter's turnover, the services of which you are getting through Urban Clap, they themselves are liable for registration. Their turnover is crossing 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. They are big or small? They themselves are big. Then what will happen? Urban Clap will pay GST only on 100 commission, and plumber carpenter will pay GST only on 1000 their charges. And understand, if at all you think that plumber carpenter, how it can happen? Rather, they are the most expensive. If at all you want to get their services, per day you hear their charges. Right? First of all, difficult to get these people. Secondly, the charges nowadays are not normal, and it's actually good. I actually appreciate it. Right? When I see their high charges, I don't feel for it, because they are also getting good revenue. Per day and all, if they come, they'll easily take 2,500, 3,000 and go. Correct? So if at all they're getting 20 days work per month, they'll be easily touching 60 to 90,000. Right? As a professional, you might be a chartered accountant sitting, and freshly qualified chartered accountant, you are getting say a package of say 1 lakh rupees. He might be touching that amount. Don't just because of the qualification, don't try to think that no, it is possible, highly possible. Highly possible. Clear? Last category, restaurant services through Swiggy. So you're talking about services through Swiggy, and we'll take a classic example of Annapurna through Swiggy. You're ordering food from Annapurna via Swiggy. Via prima facie, who will pay? Swiggy will pay, no Annapurna. Swiggy will pay on 1,000 rupees. Annapurna is a big person, I do know. But who will pay? Swiggy will pay GST. Everywhere definition of big and small is different. That is the point I wanted to highlight. Annapurna is a very big person. Annapurna is a registered person. Annapurna is a private limited company. Let it be anything. But who will pay GST? Swiggy will pay GST. Annapurna in one case will pay GST. When? When Annapurna is located in a specified premises, which means there is a restaurant with a hotel. There is a restaurant with a hotel. And any one single room rent charges. Any one single room rent charges. So premises where there is a restaurant with a hotel. Accommodation services also there. Restaurant, food and hotel. Accommodation services also there. Any single room declared tariff value is more than, then only it becomes big. Here the big definition is very simple. Here it is pure restaurant. You may be a very big chain of restaurant. Your turnover may be in 500 crores. Go to Chennai, go to Bangalore. You'll find that there are restaurant chains whose turnovers are of 500 crores. Every next, second or third street, they'll have a branch. Chennai, that's a classic example of a restaurant. Right? I'm not talking about Sarvanabam. There are other restaurants also. When you see the newspaper articles, you'll find their turnover is crossing 400 crores and all. But the point is, there also that restaurant will not pay. Who will pay? If it is ordered via Swiggy, if you directly go and pay, FCM. But if you order it via Swiggy, it is Swiggy will pay. But if there is a restaurant with a hotel and any single room declared tariff value is more than 7,500 per room per day, then, only then, Swiggy will not pay. Swiggy will pay only on its commission, 100 rupees. Annapurna will pay on its food charges, 1,000 rupees. Right? Annapurna, is it registered? Yes. Is it a private limited company? Yes. It is a big person? Yes. But still, 9.5 may be applicable. If normally you are thinking about only restaurant, forget about restaurant with a, even if there is a restaurant with a hotel and declared tariff value of all the rooms are less than or equal to 7,500 rupees per room per day, then who will pay? Swiggy will pay. Who will pay? Swiggy will pay. Are you guys clear with this understanding? 954 categories. A very sufficient information for you to understand that every time when you're seeing whether 95 or 93, please remember that always it is applicable based on the conditions. Just by remembering the names, it would not be sufficient for you to judge whether RCM is applicable in 9394 or whether ECO is applicable in 95. Just by remembering the name, it won't help you out. Next, we are discussing your RCM 93. 94 RCM is not relevant for you. Nine-four RCM, real estate sector. Finally, you'll find ICML detailed discussion will be at final level. Forget about it. So now it is only 93 RCM. 93 RCM is for goods and for services. It is for goods and for services. Now 93 RCM for goods. Rather 95, please go back and mark it as 3 stars. They do ask one way or the other when you talk about your MCQs or other questions. They incorporate with even to the extent of TCS. So this discussion that we had, make sure that you have put a 3 star. Right. 9, this is 95 eco. 93 RCM for goods. 93 RCM for goods. Once in a while they do ask. Very rarely. So now I remember only one time I put this. I am putting just 1 star. I am just putting 1 star. Not so important and not so relevant, but just go through it. Very, very basic and all. go through it, because in a master question, bigger question, there are possibility of it being touched in case of a bigger question. 1 star. Normally till date, till last 2 days, we have only put 3 stars and 5 stars, except for 1 or 2 places where we put 1 star. Now for goods, split into 3 types, 4 plus 4 plus 2. First is RCB has won for the first time. RCB triumph. RCB triumph. Rather, even Virat Kohli would not have expected that he is going to win, and suddenly RCB actually won. So RCB triumph. In this particular category, okay, RCB triumph, victory. So first R stands for your raw cotton, C stands for your cashew nuts, B stands for your BD wrapper leaves, otherwise called as tendu, and T stands for your tobacco leaves. RCB triumph. RCB triumph. RCB triumph. In all these cases, RCB is applicable if the supplier is agriculturalist and recipient is registered. Supplier is agriculturalist, individual HUF. Agriculturalist means individual or HUF. Individual or agriculturalist always means individual or HUF. Supplier is agriculturalist and recipient is registered. Recipient is registered person. That is first category. RCB triumph. RCB triumph. Now, second category, right? Maybe you can remember it as MP's offenses. MP's offenses. Either you can remember it as POM or MPs. In our India, the major headache is MPs. Offenses by MPs. Offenses by MPs. Right. Now, M here stands for metal scrap. M here stands for metal scrap. P stands for priority sector lending certificate. Priority sector lending certificate. S stands for silk yarn. And O stands for oils. Essential oils other than those containing citrus fruit. You need not remember the technical names. Essential oils other than those containing citrus fruit. So remember MPs offenses. Offenses committed by MPs. So MPs offenses. Right. For silk yarn. Silk yarn. In all these cases, different conditions are there. For silk yarn, RCM is applicable if the supplier is manufacturer. If the supplier is, it is not a trader, he should be a manufacturer. He may be registered, unregistered is not relevant. Supplier is a manufacturer and recipient is registered. Recipient always is registered. Recipient you need not remember. Registered. Recipient in all the cases is registered. Supplier is a manufacturer of silk yarn. Supplier is a, if he is a trader, FCM. If the conditions are not satisfied, FCM. Right, silk yarn. Then, when you're talking about your essential oils, that is oils, offenses, or when you're talking about your metal scrap, supplier should be unregistered, recipient should be registered. Recipient should be registered. So, when you're talking about your essential oils and metal scrap, this we have discussed while discussing your TDS. While discussing your metal scrap, we have discussed. Because this comes in TDS as well as RCM. Supplier is unregistered, recipient is registered, RCM. Supplier is registered, recipient is also registered, TDS. Because supplier will collect FCM. Supplier will collect GST and recipient will take the credit. Now that recipient will deduct TDS by cash ledger, which will come in cash ledger of the supplier. Which will come in cash ledger of the supplier. Supplier will collect output tax. Recipient will take credit. That is the tax GST part. Now TDS part. Recipient will pay TDS by cash ledger, which will come in cash ledger of the supplier. Right. So here supplier is unregistered, recipient is registered. Recipient is for both essential oils other than those containing citrus fruits and metal scrap. Metal scrap. Then for priority sector lending certificate, which is a document given by one bank to another bank. One bank to And that is the reason you'll find very specially. Otherwise, if I don't tell this, you'll not be able to understand it. So if at all one bank is falling short of some loan to priority sector, another bank will give a certificate for which it will charge. For which it will charge. Banks in India are always registered. Banks in India are always. That is the reason you will find here by registered person to registered person. If I don't tell this, you will not understand. Both the places registered. Yes, it is given by one bank to another bank, and banks in India are always registered. Banks in India are always registered. Which bank will pay? Recipient bank will pay under RCM. Recipient bank will pay under RCM. And when you're talking about the next category, lottery, 4 plus 4. First 4, RCB triumph. Next 4, MPs offences. And last 2 is government. Last 2 is government. One is lottery by state government. Lottery, central government will not have a role. So supplier is only state government, union territory or local authority. Lottery is by central government will not be there. State government, local authority or union territory. Lottery is always sold through whom? Lottery distributor or selling agent who will always be registered. Who will always be? So they will pay. They will pay. RC. Government will not pay it. Second, we are talking about other sale by government. Now this government includes central government. Central government, state government, union territory or local authority. Other items. What are the other items here? Used vehicles. All these items you can picturize government and you will find all these things. Used vehicles. Seized and confiscated goods by government, including your income tax department and GST department. Old and used goods. Within department there will be a lot of old and used goods. Waste and scrap. Used vehicles, seized and confiscated goods, old and used goods, and waste and scrap. If these items are sold by government, be it any government, central, state, union territory or local authority, to a registered person, it is RCM. If they sold to unregistered person, FCM. They sold to see, if I change the condition, it is FCM. Say for example, RCB Triumph. If I tell that they are not sold by agriculturalist, then FCM. Then, say for example, silk yarn. If I tell that they are not sold by manufacturer, trader. If it is sold by manufacturer but the recipient is unregistered, please be very clear. If the conditions are not satisfied, it will change to FCM. It will change to 4 plus 4 plus 2. 4 plus 4 plus 2. This is for goods. This is for your goods. One easy thing about goods is all the recipients are registered person, including lottery distributor or selling agent are registered person. First 4 categories supplier is agriculturist. Last 2 categories supplier is government. In between 4 categories depends. It depends. Silk yarn, manufacturer. Essential oils and metal scrap, unregistered. Priority sector lending certificate, registered. So there it depends. Now, you are talking about the last category where you are talking about 9.3 notified services. 9.3. So here I am clubbing your exemption and your RCM. If it is exempted, no one will pay tax. Forget about FCM, RCM. Only if it is taxable, someone is going to pay tax. Correct? Only if it is taxable, someone is going to pay tax. If transportation is by GTA and in case transportation is for specified persons. What is meant by specified persons? If it is for pure TDS deductors. What do you mean by pure TDS deductor? Government who's having only GST TDS number but not normal GST number. Government, generally who will have TDS number? Government. Now government may be of 2 categories, normal GST number and GST TDS number. One, only GST TDS number. One is only GST TDS number. Second could be normal GST number and GST TDS number. GST. So if you are talking about government having only GST TDS number, though they are registered, but they are registered only for deducting TDS. They are registered only for deducting no tax, exempt. It is if supply is by GTA to government where they are having only TDS number. They are having only GST TDS number but not normal GST number, then it is exempt. Then it is exempt. Second category, if the recipient is individual or HUF, remember this, I made this specified category into simple, individual or HUF, which is not registered under Factories Act and not registered under GST Act. So this we have never discussed. Yes, I have made it simple. I have converted this into positive thing. If you are a factory, then exemption is not there. If you are a society, then no exemption. If you are a cooperative society, no exemption. If you are a GST registered person, no exemption. If you are a partnership firm or AOP, no exemption. If you are a body corporate, no exemption. Forget everything else. Make it simple. When exemption is there? When you should be individual or HUF. Firm, no exemption. Body corporate, no exemption. Society, no exemption. Cooperative society, so you should be individual or HUF. Plus, not registered under, you should not be registered under, even individual HUF can be registered under Factories Act. You should not be registered under Factories Act and you should not be registered under GST Act. So, individual or HUF which is not registered under Factories Act and not registered under GST Act, if GTA is supplying to, okay, supposing we are getting some goods to GTA, individual HUF, yes. Are we registered under Factories Act? No. Are we GST registered as a normal public? No. Exempted. It is exempted. Specified persons, it is exempt. To government where it is having only GST TDS number, exempt. To individual HUF which is not registered in Factories Act and not registered in GST Act, exempt. Specified persons, specified goods, NAMO RD. NAMO RD. For the neighboring country, NAMO is RDX. For the neighboring country, NAMO is RDX. NAMO RD. So you're talking about registered newspapers or magazines, agricultural produce, milk, salt, food grains. Milk, salt, food grains including flours, pulses and rice. Rice technically is not an agricultural produce. Paddy is an agricultural produce. But even transportation of rice to GT is exempt because of separately given. Because it is separately, wheat by default is an agricultural produce. By default is an agricultural produce. O, organic manure. R, relief materials for victims of natural or artificial calamities or disaster. Relief materials. D, defense or military equipments. NAMO RD. NAMO RD. If it is NAMO RD goods for anyone, exempt. First type of exemption was based on what? Person. If the person is only government having only GST TS number, exempt. Individual HUF not in Factories Act, not in GST Act, exempt. Now next is based on goods. NAMO RD. NAMO RD, exempt. Finally, if it is taxable, by default, if the question is silent, by default it is always RCM. By default it is always RCM. By default it is always RCM. If the question tells no, GTA has opted for FCM, then it is FCM. If the question tells GTA has opted for FCM, then it is FCM. So normally question will not tell anything. So what is the normal understanding? Louder. RCM. That is RCM. Can GTA opt for FCM? Yes. This is 5-star category. GTA services always be special, always having significance. By default, it is RCM. Forget about exemption. By default, it is RCM. If GTA opts, it is FCM. If GTA opts, it is FCM. 5-star category. Now, next category may not be 5-star category, but immediately after GTA, I always believe that taking this will be helpful. Your author. Taking author is helpful. This is neither 5-star nor your 3-star. But all the other cases, when I am not putting 5-star or 3-star, at least for RCM cases, I would like to go with 1-star. Normally, I don't put that. I would like to go with this particular 1-star. Now, if you are talking about temporary transfer or permitting the use or enjoyment of copyright transfer, if it is for original musical work, artistic work or dramatic work. Original mad work, musical, artistic, dramatical work, by whom? Supplier is a music composer or photographer or the artist. Supplier is that artist. Recipient is music company or the producer. Music company or the who will pay? The producer will pay. Music company or the producer will pay RCM. But the key word is original. Keyword is A.R. Rahman providing copyright services to Sony Music. It is original musical work. RCM. Sony Music will pay by RCM by cash, immediately take it in credit ledger. Pay by cash, get it in credit. Sony Music further transferring that copyright to Jio Saavn, Spotify, etc. Is it original? No. Then it is FCM. So Sony then will pay on FCM the credit which is available, including RCM credit, it will use. This is for MAD. Original MAD. Not just MAD, original MAD. Right. Now it is literature. Books, literary work. Original literary work. Temporary transfer or permitting the use or enjoyment of copyright for original literary works, literature works. By whom? By the author. To whom? Publisher. By default, it is under RCM. But if author wants, he can go for FCM. He should be registered, inform the commission that I am willing to go for FCM, invoice, write that I am going for FCM. Minimum 1 year be under FCM. Once you are telling, you have to be minimum under FCM. Forget this unimportant points. It is FCM. There are only two persons by default where there is RCM, but if they want, they can make it FCM. Who are they? GTA, author. Other cases, if it is RCM, it is RCM. If it is not RCM, it is FCM. You cannot change over. You cannot decide. Only GTA and author, they will decide. But by default, it is RCM. So that is this next case. Now, the next case, sponsorship case, put a 3-star for your RCM. This 3-star, whatever I am putting 3-star or 5-star, is only for the RCM entry, not for the exemption. Now, sponsorship, if at all it is for a sports event by a notified body, they are given the list of 5 notified bodies. You can just give one glance that national sports or its affiliated federation, whether the team or the individual represents not only the country but district, state or zone. So it is not only BCCI, it is also TNCL, Tamil Nadu Cricket Board, affiliated bodies, or Association of Indian Universities or Indian University Sports Board, School Games Federation of India, or All India Sports Council for Deaf, Paralympic Committee of India, or Special Olympics Bharat. Second is the sponsorship is coming for the events organized by them, or Central Civil Services, Cultural and Sports Board. You need not by heart, be familiar. Oh, in the terms, Central Civil Services, Cultural and Sports Board, or as a part of National Games by Indian Olympic Association. The moment you see this, you'll understand, oh, something special, we have seen this stuff, exempted. Or Panchayat Yuva Krida or Khel Abhiyan. If at all I translate in English, it is promotion of sports in villages for youth. Promotion of sports in villages for your youth. Clear? These 5 notified bodies, if sponsorship is happening for a sports event, which is organized by these 5 notified bodies, it is exempt. It is. Now, what is taxable? If sponsorship is for a sports event, not by these notified bodies, If sponsorship is for a sports event but not by these notified bodies, it is taxable. Or sponsorship is of other events, educational event, entertainment event, cultural event, then it is taxable. Then it is taxable. Once it is taxable, again, this amendment is for the very first time for September. Very first time. They put this condition, extra condition, first time. Supplier should be other than, this was not there earlier. Supplier can be any person. Supplier can be, but for very first time for September 25 exam, supplier should be other than body corporate. Supplier should not be a body corporate. Recipient should be a partnership firm, LLP or a body corporate. Look at the condition. Supplier, not body corporate. Recipient, body corporate or partnership firm or LLP. Then RCM. If I satisfy both the conditions, then RCM. If I fail to satisfy any of the condition, by default it is not by default, then it converts to FCM. Supplier, not a body corporate. Recipient, body corporate or partnership firm or LLP. Supplier, no body corporate. Recipient, body corporate or partnership firm or LLP. If I satisfy both, then RCM. If supplier is a body corporate, FCM. If supplier is not a body corporate but recipient is a individual, FCM. FCM. Clear? Clear? Sponsorship service. Now, next is a scenario where we are discussing arbitral tribunal services and advocate services together. Arbitral tribunal services and advocate services together. Supposing arbitral tribunal services, arbitrator and advocate. Arbitrator will help to reconcile the family matters. It is only reconciliation. Okay, forget about all these things. Okay, family dispute. You take this much, you take this much. Arbitrator. Advocate, legal issues. Advocate will go for legal issues. Advocate will go for legal issues. Arbitrator, judgment may not be there on public forum. The final decision no one will know. If it is advocate who is fighting for legal issues, the judgment finally will be there on public forum. The judgment will be finally there on public forum. So that is the difference between arbitrator and advocate. If they are giving services to government or local authority or governmental authority or government entity, here it is more than government, but governmental authority and government entity is not government company. Government company is 51%. Governmental authority, government entity is 90%. Governmental authority and government entity is more than, so it is not all government companies. More than 90% where they are doing the work of panchayat or municipality or any work which is set to them. Two criteria, more than 90% control or and doing the work of panchayat, municipality or whatever is said to them. Whatever government is asking to do them. And forget about this highly technical point. Just remember government. Is government company covered? No. Government company is not covered. Something more than government company but something less than government is covered. Something more than government company, something less than government is covered. Right? So forget about the technicality. For the timing, only remember government. Only remember government company is not covered. So if Vakil Vandarmugan is providing his services to Tamil Nadu government, it is exempt. It is exempt. If you are providing services to government, if you are providing services to, if advocate or arbitrator is providing services to government, it is exempt. If they are providing services to non-business entity, right? Say for example, Mr. and Mrs. Bharat or Mr. and Mrs. Trump, or rather now highly debatable topic, Trump and Musk, personal disputes. Trump and Musk, Elon Musk, personal disputes. Non-business entity, exempt. It is exempt. Non-business entity, it is exempt. If at all, it is provided to a business entity. It is provided to a business entity, but whose aggregate turnover, now look at this language. Now this will be repeating again and again, but I'll make it very simple. I'll be using only the short form. Whose aggregate turnover is up to the threshold limit in previous year. Sir, always for registration, you only see current year. Now, we are not talking about your registration. We are talking about the opposite person status. We are talking about the opposite person. So, we cannot see current year turnover of the opposite person. We can only see. It is not about registration. It is about to decide whether the opposite party is small or big. The opposite person's aggregate turnover in previous year is up to 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. This we will always refer to as small business entity. If the opposite person's turnover in preceding financial year is more than 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, then we'll call them as big business entity. Got that? Got that? Are we seeing the aggregate turnover of 40, 20, 10 lakhs? Yes. But are we seeing our 40, 20, 10 lakhs or the customers 40, 20, 10 lakhs? Customers. Are we looking for registration or are we seeing for big person or small person? So big person, small person, can we see their current year aggregate turnover? No. So we resort to preceding financial year, right? Now, if it is providing to look at the way I've drafted the question, ICAI plays with this. The same list of exemption will come for government, which is the most important, right? So here they tell that it is provided to Sabari Limited. Sabari Limited. It is a limited body corporate, and it is also registered, but its previous year turnover is up to 40, 20, 10 lakhs, exempt. See, everywhere definition of big and small is different. The recipient is a limited company, body corporate. It is GST registered, but still the previous year turnover was up to 40, 20, 10 lakhs. It has started its business only in first year, this year. It is exempt. It is here the relevance is of small business entity or big business entity. It doesn't depend whether you're a body corporate or other than body corporate, whether you're registered or unregistered. Got that? Now I'll reverse it. If at all it is provided to Durga and company, which is not registered, which is a business entity in India but not registered, but its previous year turnover was more than 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Is it taxable? Yes. And it is taxable under RCM. Durga company should take compulsory registration. Durga and Co doesn't mean it is a company. It means it is a proprietorship concern or a partnership firm. Durga and Co, it means it is a proprietorship concern or a why? And Co is not the criteria for body. Body corporate means it is limited. When you talk about company, either it is limited or private limited. Correct? So and Co is either a proprietorship concern or a partnership firm. So it is a partnership firm, and it is rather will as you understand this as a proprietorship concern, and it is not registered. Now that is not relevant. Whether your previous year aggregate turnover was more than 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs, yes. Now for this you become bigger. Though technically you are not a body corporate, you are only a proprietorship concern, you are not registered, not relevant. Whether your turnover in previous year was more than 40, 20, 10 lakhs, yes. RCM, compulsory registration. You have to pay it. It's taxable under RCM. But Durga and Co, I have said it is unregistered. Now it has to take compulsory registration. For this RCM, it has to take compulsory registration. And once registered, payment is must. Though it has taken registration for this RCM, but further any sales made by it, payment is must. What if it is provided to a foreign company? Till now, Indian companies. What if it is provided to a foreign company? What if the services are given by Vakil Vandamurugan to Tesla Incorporation? For Tesla Incorporation, you will not find small or big because you don't know the turnover outside India. Correct? It is always taxable, always under FCM. So till now, always you thought that advocate service is always under RCM. Correct? No. Even your ICAI material does not highlight the fact that it can be under FCM. It can be under FCM. Though this is export of services, you can go for 0 rating, but technically it is under FCM. It is under FCM. Clear? Clear? To government, exempt. Government authority and government entity exempt. Non-business entity, small business entity in India, exempt. Big business entity in India, taxable under RCM. To foreign business entity, taxable under FCM. Taxable under FCM. The same is true for advocate services as well as arbitral tribunal services. Arbitral tribunal services. The second part of advocate is highly complicated. It is never asked, never explained. Forget about your inter level, not even test in your final level. Do not bother to see it. If at all it was a normal class, I would have explained with this example which is given here and all. No, forget about it. Forget about it. This is all about one advocate to another advocate. The previous point was advocate to client. This is all about one advocate to. So no, forget about this. Now, advocate, I guess you have marked 5-star repeatedly. Advocate is always 5-star. Just like GTA, legal services, and advocate and GTA actually are those RCM where you need not break your head. By default, advocate, whenever question ICA is asking question, it will be under RCM. By default, when they ask about GTA, by default it is under. There you don't break your head. But other services you have to remember. Who's supplier, who's recipient, whether it is RCM or not. Advocate services, it's relevant because it can be exempt also. So at times they'll play with that exemption. Play with that exemption. Now, insurance and banking services. The first part, yes, repeatedly asked questions. So the first part I'll be marking 3 stars. The second part I'll not be taking, not at all important, not even 1 star. So business facilitator, business correspondent, I'll not be touching, not at all relevant, not at all important, not even 1 star. So this I'll be marking as 3 star. Insurance agent to insurance company. Insurance agent to insurance company. FCM or RCM? RCM. But not always. If the agent is not having license under section 42 of Insurance Act, if the agent is not having license of insurance agent as per section 42 of Insurance Act, then technically he is not an insurance agent. It is FCM. You may call him as insurance agent, but technically he is not an insurance agent. It is FCM. Insurance agent having license of insurance agent to insurance company is RCM. But if I tell insurance agent or any other supplier, chartered accountant to insurance company, FCM. An actuary to insurance company is FCM. An insurance agent which you think is an insurance agent but he's not having license, FCM. It is FCM. Recovery agent to banking sector, RCM. Like you have insurance agent for insurance company, recovery agent is very common. It is RCM. But wait, if recovery agent is to Reliance Limited or Tata Limited or Durga and Go, it's to others, not to banks, then it is under. Don't think ICA has played with all these things. Small places, it has put all these points. So recovery agent just does by recovery agent, it doesn't becomes RCM. Recovery agent to banks, financial institutions, non-banking financial company is RCM. But if it is to others, then it is FCM. Next, direct selling agent also to banks. You'll get calls, right, whether you want loans or not. Direct selling agents. If you're talking about direct selling agent, individual direct selling agent to your banks, RCM. Now look at the way. Recovery agent can be individual or body corporate, anything. But direct selling agent should be an individual. Then only RCM. If direct selling agent is not individual, firm or a company, to banks, then it is. So for direct selling agent, he should be an individual. To banks, RCM. If direct selling agent is a partnership firm or a company or an LLP to banks, then it is FCM. If you're talking about committees, for RBI, there are a lot of committees. One of the committees, MOC. Members of Overseeing Committee providing their professional services to RBI. RBI will pay, RCM. RBI will pay. Whenever I tell RCM pay by cash, get in credit if you're eligible. Right? But if at all I am member in other committee, not members of overseeing committee, some other committee incorporated by RBI, providing my services to RBI, my professional services to RBI, then it is FCM. So just by remembering insurance agent or recovery agent or direct selling agent or committee doesn't help. You should know who's the supplier, who's the recipient. Who's the supplier? Insurance agent having license to insurance company, RCM. Recovery agent to banks, RCM. Anything else? FCM. Direct selling agent being individual to banks, RCM. Anything else? FCM. Members of overseeing committee to RBI, RCM. Any other committee? FCM. So everywhere I have given you other side. If I change the question, answer would be converting to FCM. Answer would convert to FCM. Right. The next category of your business facilitator, business correspondent is not so important. I'm not touching it. Real estate sector. Again, I'm marking these services where generally this real estate sector is never ever asked. Not even a single time it is asked. At least your business correspondent, business facilitator, at least once or twice it has been tested. But no, not even important. Not even 1 star. Not even. Are they there? Yes. If you want, you can go. It is not like a category which I have said don't even see. It is not like a category advocate to advocate. I said don't ever see. These things, if you have time, see. If you have time, see them. Director discussed. Managing director to company, not at all. Supply. Other directors to company. It is supply under RCM, not always under RCM. But if at all, director is giving his property to company. Other services. Independent director giving his directorial services to company, RCM. But if a director is giving some other services, it may be RCM, it may be FCM, but not this RCM, not this RCM. Now comes director service also mark 3 star. Repeatedly asked question, independent director. Every now and then, rather, I'll change this to 5 star because every now and then there will be a question of independent director, managing director. Managing director means no GST. Independent director means GST under RCM. GST under RCM. Now comes your other 5 star categories. So your 16th service, security services, 5 star. And all your other services, 17 to 20 services, renting, lending services, all these services, 5 star. So 16 to 20th, all the 5 services, 5 star. ICA will play with it. Here you have to remember supplier, recipient, FCM or RCM. Now for security services, for it to be taxable under RCM, look at this example. Supplier should be other than body corporate. Recipient should be registered person, but wait, there's a twist. Registered person not under composition scheme, not only for TDS purposes. Registered person not under composition scheme, not only for GST TDS purposes. It should have normal registration also. Not only for GST TDS purposes. So here there are multiple conditions. So supplier should be other than body corporate. If I tell supplier himself is a body corporate, if I tell supplier is a body corporate, supplier is a limited company. The moment I tell supplier is a limited company, don't even see the recipient, all the transactions. Simple, finish. If I tell supplier is a partnership firm or a proprietorship concern or a LLP, partnership firm or a proprietorship concern, right? Then possibility of RCM is there. Supplier is other than body corporate. Supplier is other than recipient. If recipient is unregistered, FCM. Registered but under composition scheme, FCM. Registered, but only for GST TDS purposes. Registered under regular scheme, not only for TDS, normal number. It is not GST TDS number, it is a then RCM. What are the conditions? Look at it. Supplier should be other than body corporate. Recipient should be registered under regular scheme and not GST TDS number, normal GST number. Normal, then RCM. Then RCM. Totally 8 examples are given here. If you look at the chart carefully, only one is covered under. Wait, to make it more interesting, this recipient which is registered normal regular registration, which means not under composition scheme and not GST TDS number. It may be a proprietorship concern, it may be a body corporate. Now that is not relevant. This recipient registered person may be a proprietorship concern. Okay, fine. It may be a. This is not relevant. Sir, why are you stressing on this fact? Because the next service plays with this. Next service, which is renting of motor vehicles designed to carry passengers. Previous was security services. Next is renting of motor vehicles designed to carry passengers, where the cost of the fuel is also included in consideration. Supplier should be other than body corporate. So supplier is same point. Supplier should be other than body corporate, but there are more conditions. And not charging 12%. If it is charging 12%, FCM. So that is an extra condition. Not a body corporate, not charging 12%. Recipient should be a body corporate in India. Always RC means recipient is in India. Always RC means recipient is in India. Body corporate in India. When it is RCM, obviously recipient should be in India. All RCMs. Right. Here, whether recipient is registered, unregistered, not relevant. Body corporate is relevant. Whether it is small, big, previous year, small, big, not relevant. Body corporate. It should be a body corporate. Now, if I tell first scenario, if supplier is a body corporate, will you look at anything? You will not even look at anything. Answer is FCM. Whatever are the supplies, it is FCM. Supplier 1. Supplier 2 is a partnership firm, but charging 12%. The moment I tell it is not a body corporate, you might think it is RCM, but wait, I tell it is charging 12%. You will not even look at the customer. Always FCM. Always. Then when you look at the customer, if supplier 3 is a proprietorship concern other than body corporate, not charging 12%, now there is a hope of RCM. If the customer is also a partnership firm, it is FCM. It may be registered. Now look at this. Customer I have given partnership firm. I am telling it is registered. No, not relevant. It is registered or not relevant. Is it a body corporate? No, it's not a body corporate. FCM. Now the customer is a limited company. Now it is RCM. Even if it is not registered, it is RCM. And now that RCM has come, what this company has to do? It has to take compulsory registration. Are we guys clear with this understanding? So what was the case where your RCM came in? Supplier is not a body corporate, not charging 12%. Recipient is a, only then RCM came. This recipient is a body corporate but not registered. Don't worry, not registered, not relevant. Take compulsory registration. This was exactly reverse in security services. In security services, recipient should be registered under regular scheme, not only for TDS purposes. Registered was the criteria. Body corporate or non-body corporate was not the criteria. But here, body corporate is the criteria. Registered or not registered is not the criteria. So things are very different. Be very clear. The first day, I think I've solved all the 5 or 6 issues raised yesterday. And I said, RCM, sorry. I had a very clear answer. RCM, sorry. Be very clear. What is the scenario? By heart it. Know it. When, what. Exemption, don't by heart. Be familiar. Be familiar. Read it. Just like reading some magazine or not. Be familiar. Okay. No need to by heart it. Be familiar with the exemption. But RCM, it should be by hearted. Right. Next, renting of residential dwelling. All these are 5 stars. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All 5. This comes under this previous page, last part, and this entire page is 5 star. Entire page is 5 star. So I have marked 17, 18, 19, 20. All 5 star. Now renting of residential dwelling. If it is for use as residence, to an unregistered person. Simple example, house for your family. It is exempt. If it is for use as residence, but to a registered person, but to a classic example, companies will have taken renting of residential dwelling for use as residence for the managing director stay, or for their customer stay, or a guest house, or staff quarters, or staff, then it is taxable under RCM. Classic example is guest house, staff quarters. If it is renting of residential dwelling for use other than residence, classic example, CA offices. Lot of CA offices, you will find that it is like home. Right? Or another classic example, you're talking about movies, serials. They take entire big houses on rent. Is it used for residence? No. Then it is taxable under FCM. ICA will stop this exempt and RCM, but there's a possibility of FCM. ICA will stop here, taxable and exempt and RCM, but there's a possibility of FCM when renting of residential dwelling, not used for residence, not used for to any person. It is FCM. Landlord will pay. It is FCM. Landlord will pay. Are you guys clear with this understanding? And if I'm a proprietor, I have taken 2 houses on rent, one for my family and one for my staff quarters. I am registered. For my family, though technically I am registered, I will be treated as unregistered person, exempt. And for staff quarters, I am registered, I will be treated as registered person, RCM. This is only for a proprietor. This is only for a proprietorship concern. I have 2 houses taken on rent, one for my family. Technically, I am registered. My PAN is registered, but I will be treated like, because I will not put that as business expenses. It is my personal drawings, exempt. And second, I have taken another house for rent or for my staff quarters. I will put it as my business expenses. I am registered. I will be treated like registered. It will be taxable under RCM. Now, whether landlord is registered or not, forget about it. It is RCM. If it is renting of residential dwelling for use as residence, recipient is registered, RCM. Landlord registered or not, forget about it. It is RCM. It is RCM. I have to pay and take the credit. Even if landlord is registered, I have to pay and take the credit. I may be a body corporate, I may be a proprietorship concern, I may be a partnership firm, not relevant. My landlord may be a big person, not relevant. Recipient is registered. That's it. That's the criteria. That's the supplier can be any person. Recipient should be registered. This is renting of your residential dwelling. Next is renting of property other than residential dwelling. Renting of a property other than, which means commercial property. Renting of commercial property. If you're talking about renting of commercial property, where you're talking about hostels, it is a commercial place only, where accommodation charges is up to 20,000 per person per month, and that is for a period more than 90 days. 2 conditions. Amount charged for that stay should be up to 20,000 per person per month. Supposing students are staying in hostel, you will satisfy this criteria, up to 20,000 per month per person. But second criteria, the stay should be minimum 90 days, more than 90 days. So few students who have come here and going in hostel, you may satisfy the first criteria, but you may not satisfy the second criteria. It's taxable. For it to be exempt, charges should be up to 20,000 per person per month, but stay should be minimum 90 days. Then it is exempt. Otherwise taxable. Otherwise taxable under FCM. Otherwise taxable. Now, renting of commercial property, forget about that accommodation charges because that is for hostels and all. Other commercial property like godowns, warehouses, etc. If it is from an unregistered person to a landlord is unregistered. Here we were talking about hostels. So forget about that. Now you're talking about say godowns, factories, etc. So by unregistered person to registered person, it is RCM. Look at the difference. House and commercial property. For house, landlord may be registered, may not be registered. If recipient is registered, RCM. For godown or factory, landlord should be unregistered and you should be registered. Only then RCM. If landlord himself is registered, then FCM. If landlord himself is, okay, I'll make it simple. I'm running a business. I'm a proprietorship concern, a partnership firm or a body corporate, whatever it is. I'm registered. I have taken 2 properties on rent. One residential property for my staff quarters. Other commercial property, godown or a factory. Right? Now if it is a residential property for my staff quarters, whether my landlord is registered or unregistered, I'll pay under RCM. For my godown, factory, commercial property, which I have taken on rent. Thank you. If my landlord is registered, FCM. If he is unregistered, then only RCM. It will keep changing. And lastly, you are talking about security lending services, where you can lend your shares on stock market. You can lend your shares on, if you are a long-term investor, you can lend your shares on stock market. A short-term trader will come and take your shares on lending and he will do short-term trading and give it back. You will never know each other. So here, service is by a lender to a borrower of shares. Lending charges will be paid and you will not get directly, you will get via stock exchange. You will get via, both of you will not know each other. Who will pay? This is a case which will always be under RCM. Otherwise, I tell FCM, RCM, this is always under RCM. And this is a case which will always be IGST. Why, sir? There is a provision in your IGST Act which you have not discussed because it was not so important, though it is there in your syllabus. If you are not sure of CGST, SGST or IGST, go with? Why? As a recipient, if I am the borrower, I will know the place of supply. I know how to find out place of supply as per section 12 services. But I will never know location of supply because I don't know who's the supplier. I will never know location of supplier because I don't know who's the, and it is always under IGST. It is always RCM, always IGST. One classic case where with surety I can tell that it is RCM. When one was there in goods, priority sector lending certificate, registered bank to registered bank, always RCM. One security lending scheme, lender to borrow, always RCM. Here, one more extra point, always RCM, always IGST. Always RCM, always IGST. So this is there. And coming to the most important services, importation of services, no, not generally asked because it is more relevant for your final, though it is given in your syllabus as a passing reference. So we'll be seeing this last service, super duper 5-star. Rather, I don't know how to make it and tell that it is the most important. Therefore, it is super 5-star. It is your super 5-star. It is actually so important that I have to distinguish. I need to distinguish your other services with this services. It is super duper 5-star. Now, talking about this particular case, first category we have already discussed, PML, Panchayat, Municipality or liquor license fees, not at all supply. If it is PML services, Panchayat, Panchayat, municipality, or Panchayat under Article 243G, municipality services Article 243W, or liquor license fees. Not at all supply. Forget about taxable or exempt. Forget about RCM. RCM is very late. It is not at all supply. It is not at all supply. PML, not at all supply. Services by whom? Government. Not government company. By government. Central government, state government, union territory or local authority. Central government, state government, union territory or local authority. Then PRPT. First is PML. Then PRPT. PRPT. Post, railways, port, airport and transport. Post, railways, port and transport. PRPT. If it is postal services, 4 types of postal services are exempted when it is up to, not up to, less than 10 grams. PIBO. What is PIBO? Your postcard, inland letter, book post, ordinary post. Postcard, inland letter, book post, ordinary post. PIBO. Less than 10 grams exempt. Whether registered post is exempt? No. It is not covered by PIBO. Whether speed post is exempt? No. Whether insurance service given by postal department is exempt? No. Banking services given by postal department is exempt? No. What is exempt? Only PIBO. Postcard, inland letter, book post and ordinary post. That too less than 10 grams. It is exempt. Otherwise, it is always any other service by postal department to any person, it is taxable under FCM. Why I am discussing PRPT separately is it is always under FCM. No RCM. It is always under Department of Post will pay. Department of Post will pay FCM. It is always under FCM. This is for post. Then for railways. Notified services by Ministry of Railways is exempt. So what are the notified services? First, normally when you go to railway, sale of platform tickets, exempt. Staying in retiring rooms, exempt. Keeping the goods in clock room, exempt. Keeping your bags in clock room, exempt. Battery operated car services within railways, exempt. These are the services normally you see, correct? Platform tickets, clock room services, retiring room services and battery operated vehicle, exempt. Service by one division of railways to another division of railways, distinct person. One division of railways to another division of railways with another GSC number. Though it is deemed supply, but it is exempt. Then, service by special purpose vehicle to Ministry of Railways for allowing to use infrastructure. Supposing now that is few railways which are made by private vendors. Railways, they will make the infrastructure. So Adani is making a railway which will look like airport. It is already there. 1 or 2 cases are already there, which you will experience like airport. Just when you go home, search. Right? So here, who's the supplier? Supplier is not Ministry of Railways. Supplier is Adani special purpose vehicle to railways for use of infrastructure. They will create that. For use of infrastructure. The property belongs to Adani. So who will pay? Railways will pay. That is exempt. Now, railways will also supply something in return. And services of maintenance supplied by Ministry of Railways to them. See, infrastructure belongs to Adani. Adani to Ministry of Railways. To allow Ministry of Railways to use the infrastructure. That is exempt. Railways to Adani for maintaining that infrastructure. Both are exempt. To railways, exempt. By railways, exempt. We are more focused on by railways. Clear? These are the 3 services exempt by Ministry of Railways. Apart from that, one more exemption is there when you see passenger transportation service, non-AC, non-first class. Non-AC, non-first class. Ticket is exempt. Everything else by railways is taxable. And that is under FCM. That is under FCM. Railways will own a lot of properties, not only in your railway station, even nearby properties can be owned by railways. If these properties are given on rent to you, it is taxable, but not under RCM, it is under FCM. Government giving you property on rent, generally RCM, but railways giving property to you on rent, FCM. Right? Railways giving any services to you, FCM. It is always under FCM. 3 are exempt, all others are FCM. Then PR, post railways. P, port airport. Any port or airport related services for aircraft and vessel which are there inside the port or outside the precincts of the port or airport. Whether inside the port or airport or near the precincts of port and airport. Airport Authority of India, Port Trust of India will give a lot of services to airline companies or shipping companies, not only to them, to us also. Everything is taxable, no exemption. Everything is, and that is also FCM. No RCM in this category. No RCM in this category. Next, transportation services, PRPT. Transportation services is a separate entry. If transportation service is given by a private entity which is exempt, if it is given by government, that is also exempt. If bus services, stage carriage, point-to-point transportation is given by a private bus, it is exempt. Even if it is given by government bus, it is exempt. But if the same bus, that is AC, that is AC. If it is given by a private bus, it is taxable. Even if it is given by a government bus, it is taxable. So when you talk about Adi, when you talk about transportation of goods or passengers, these are two separate services discussed in detail in your exemption part. But what is the summary of it? If it is given by a private entity, if it is taxable even for government. If it is given by a private entity, if it is exempt for private entity, it is exempt even for government. It is exempt even for government. So PRPT. There are few exemptions here. Agreed. In P, there are few exemptions. Post, few exemptions. Railways, few exemptions. Port, airport, no exemptions. Transport, few exemptions. But whenever they are taxable under FCM. Whenever they are taxable under no RCM. No RCM. I repeat, railways giving you some services. This is repeatedly asked question by ICI. Railways giving you some services, including renting of property. It won't be under RCM. It won't be under RCM. And finally, other services. The sequence is first evaluate PML, then evaluate PRPT, then come to others. If you miss the sequence, you are gone. If you miss the sequence, you are gone. In others, it is just like advocate service. Follow the link of advocate service. If it is not PML and not PRPT, then others evaluate. If it is given to government or local authority, just remember advocate services. Given to government or local authority, exempt. Given to non-business entity, exempt. Given to small business entity, exempt. Till here it is same like advocate. Same like to government to government, exempt. Government to non-business entity, exempt. Government to small business entity, government to big business entity, no. It is not taxable. It may be exempt if the value is small. It may be exempt if the value is up to 5,000. Government to government, exempt. Government to non-business entity, exempt. To small business entity, previous year aggregate turnover up to threshold limit, exempt. To big business entity, small value, up to 5,000. Up to 5,000 is per invoice. But if it is continuous supply of services, per financial year. Per financial year. 5,000 is basically per invoice. But if it is continuous supply of services, it is per financial year, exempt. Small value. Big business entity, small value, exempt. What if I tell that it is big business entity, value is also big? Then also, wait, if it is notified services, there's a list of 10 or 11 notified services, exempt. Exempt. So then when it is taxable, if you pass all these, if it is to big business entity, value is more than 5,000 and it is not in notified, only then it is taxable. And when it is taxable, again you have to wait. You have to ask two questions. Is it renting of immovable property? If it is renting of immovable property, if it is to registered person, RCM. If it is to unregistered person, if the recipient is registered, he will take care, RCM. If he is unregistered, FCM. If he is unregistered, FCM. If it is other services other than renting of immovable property, then ask a different question. Don't ask whether it is registered or not. Is the business entity in India? Then RCM. If the business entity is outside India, if it is renting of immovable property, different question. Recipient registered, RCM. Recipient unregistered, FCM. If it is other services, ask a different question. Not about registration. Is the recipient is in India? RCM. Outside India? FCM. Outside India? You will ask a different question. You will ask a different question. What was the exemption? Government to government, exempt. Government to non-business entity, exempt. Government to small business entity. Now wait, government to small business entity, this point exemption you should not see for renting of immovable property. For all other services, you will first see government to, even for renting of immovable property, you will see the first services. But government to small business entity, do not see for renting of immovable property. For renting of immovable property, you will not evaluate small business entity or big business entity. For other services, you will evaluate. I'll make it simple. If government is giving other services to small business entity, it is exempt. But if government is giving renting of immovable property to small business entity, it may be taxable. It may be taxable. So here you don't evaluate it. So government to government, exempt. Non-business entity, exempt. Small business entity, exempt, but do not evaluate this for renting of immovable property. Don't evaluate the third point for renting of immovable property. Government, big business entity but small value, up to 5,000, exempt. Government, big business entity, big value, but notified services, exempt. Government to big business entity, big value, other than notified, for the first time you see something called as taxable. But wait, FCM or RCM? If it is renting of immovable property, recipient registered, RCM, unregistered, FCM. If other services, recipient in India, RCM, outside India, FCM. So this is how you work out your government services. The list of notified services you can go through yourself. Right. So if I tell, just look at these examples, please try to answer it. If government is giving services to registered person, 300 rupees. Sir, not registered person. RP stands for what? No. Generally, I know RP stands for registered person. Here, government is obviously registered. No. Okay, if government is giving some services to, RP here, registered post. Government is giving registered post services to 300 rupees. PML, PRPT or others? Which category? PML, PRPT or others? You will not come other. If you coming others, 300 means exempt. You are going PRPT. PRPT, registered post. Registered post taxable or exempt? Registered post taxable or exempt? Always taxable. Value and all not allowed. Taxable under? That comes in PRPT. Now if it is renting of immovable property, 2,000 per month to a small business entity. 2,000 per month to a small business entity. Please understand, renting is a continuous supply of services, and 2,000 per month will be 24,000 per financial year, because it is continuous supply of services to a small business entity. Now renting of immovable property, Forget about other services. Renting of immovable property, whether it is too small or big, you will not evaluate. Whether it is small or big, you will not evaluate. Is it taxable? Yes. Because you are not evaluating small or big. Is it taxable? Yes. FCM or RCM? I have said the small business entity is. So now you will find the answer is taxable under FCM. Forget that fine can that is for a different question. Taxable under FCM. If government is giving renting of immovable property to a small business entity, what is per month? 6,000. Now per year it will be, because it is continuous supply of services. Continuous supply of renting is a continuous supply of services. Now it is giving to a small business entity, but it is registered. Whether you will see small or big for renting of immovable property, for renting of immovable property, you will not see small or big. You will not see. So you'll ignore it. Is it taxable? Yes. Under why this entity is registered? This entity is, so answer will be taxable under RCM. If it is other services, 7,500. Other services, 7,500. And to big business entity. Other services, 7,500, and it is to big business entity. It is to big business entity. And that big business entity is unregistered. Is it small business entity? No. Is it taxable? Wait. Is it small value? No. It is big business entity, big value. Forget about notified for the time being. Big business entity, taxable or exempt? Taxable. Clearly it is taxable. Under RCM or FCM. Big business entity is unregistered. Now, for other services, registered or unregistered doesn't matter. India or outside India? Is it in India? Yes. So it is taxable under? If it is not registered, take compulsory. But if I change this question only a bit and I tell that in second and third case, it is not renting of immovable property, it is other services. It is not renting of immovable property, it is, and it is given to a small business entity, whether registered or unregistered. The moment it is other services, and if it is given to a small business entity, whether the value is small or big, forget about it. Whether the business entity is registered or unregistered, forget about it. If it is given to a small business entity, other services, answer would be, the moment I keep changing, I'll get a different answer. I'll get a favorite area of ICI is government services. Government services. And the most important exemption is also government. Right? So here I stop this. Import of the services is not so important, so I'm not touching this. Right? Not important. Neither 1 star. I'm not even putting 1 star. Right? So I'm not touching that. This completes all your RCM entries and few exemptions. Few? Did I discuss all your exemptions? No. Rather, exemptions is actually for self-study. There are a lot of important exemption entries. Lots and lots of important exemption entries. Please note down the list of important exemption entries. Note down the list of important exemption entries with the sequence. Government services. We have not seen notified services, correct? In this exemption, there is one point which is notified services. First is government services. Second is entertainment services. Repeatedly asked question. Dance performance. Classical or Western. Consideration. Brand ambassador. Repeatedly asked question. Entertainment services. Third is educational services. Educational services. So you're talking about important list of exemptions that you have to see. Government services, entertainment services, mainly that classical art forms or your Western dance and dance schools, even schools, right? And next is educational services. Then there is sports services. Then there is 12AA, 12AB services. Services given by charitable trust services. Then there is renting of immobile property services, which you have already completed. This area we have already completed. Then there is healthcare services, hospitals or doctors, healthcare services. Then your agricultural services. Agricultural services. Apart from that, one line entries are there for your residential welfare association. There is only one exemption for your residential welfare association, and there is one exemption for your business exhibition services. One line item will be there. It's not the list, it is one entry. Somewhere you'll find 1 point for residential welfare association. ICA has asked time and again for residential welfare association. If the monthly maintenance charges is up to 7,500 per month per member exempt, if it is more than that, then it is taxable. Then there's business exhibition services. If it is taken for outside India, you are promoting your product outside India, then it is exempt. So these are one line item. They are not services category. They are not sector. They are other one exemption categories. Go through these entries for sure. For sure. Mandatorily go through this. You can put all these as your 3-star or your 5-star. Maybe in 1-star you can put other two if you have time. If you have time, banking services, transportation services. Not so important if you have time. Rather, lot of services you are actually ignoring. Exemption is actually very big. Lot of things are there. If you have time, banking and transportation. If you have time. So the first category is your 5-star or 3-star based on the sequence. I've given the orders. In this order, I say gives a priority. And this is all consolidated from your past examination questions. How many times government services are asked? How many times your entertainment services are asked? So on that basis, I did not give education and healthcare together. Healthcare was asked comparatively lesser than educational. So on that basis, the sequence is given. Right? So might be if you spend your time 1.5 hours or 2 hours, effective 2 hours, full-fledged 2 hours, you'll complete everything. And this, please, I repeat, don't try to by heart. Be familiar. Just go through once or twice, again and again go through it. Daily when you're not having that, at times you'll find your week time there, you're not able to study anything. Every day, there'll be some phase. Then you do not stress, take this, okay, I'll go through them. Just go through, okay. Because this is a short question in your exam paper. Just like your ITC. They'll surely give a question on exemption. Surely give a question on exemption. So be familiar. These all services which is there on in front of you, be familiar. So whenever there is a dull phase in your revision, take the services, go through it. Okay. Rather, there are a lot of services which are only half or 2-3 lines. Entertainment, half a page. Sports, half a page. Kuti. Out of all of them, the two bigger things are education and education is actually quite. Government we have already completed. Notified services only have to. Education and government is quite a big. Government we have almost completed except for notified services. We are done with it. Right. So you please spend that time not by hearting but by being familiar. I'm giving you a very simple strategy. Whenever you have dull phase when revising some other subjects also, take this. Because you're not putting stress. Your intensity is reduced. I don't want that intensity. Intensity when you're remembering your RCM is at the top. Intensity when you're seeing your exemption is at the bottom. Have that intensity, lesser intensity. Right. So this will ensure that we are done with all these things. And then when you see your question papers, 2 or 3 tests is mandatory. You'll find that magic is happening inside the exam hall. And I bet magic will happen. Because I want to see all of you at final level. Magic will surely happen. Right? When we see at final level, I don't want you to attend this marathon lecture and all. Please make sure that final level is very not the level like your inter, it is actually multiplied by 3 4x. So you have to make sure you have seen your senior students, right? Final level, there are students who have written so many times because that is the complexity there is more, the depth there is more. So if possible, regular lectures would be there. I did not explain anything more rather than the first session because I wanted some comfort level. Supply was only area where I spent some time. I wanted that understanding with between both of us. Other than that, I just, this is the answer, this is the answer. No discussion was done except, yes, there were a few questions which were thrown. There I explained, see, this is the logic. Otherwise, we did not even touch the logic. And once you touch the logic, then this marathon lecture, then it is super magic. We have only seen the marathon part. We never touched the logical part. Right? Thank you. We are done with all these marathon lectures. We'll take one question paper to wind this up and post that we'll leave. Right?